Trying to make it two in a row here this morning as we get going after a very nice rally yesterday right into the close. We're extending those gains here so far this morning in the pre-market. And oh yeah, there goes the entire down move, by the way, since the Iran conflict started going back a couple of weeks ago. We're right back to where we started on both the NASDAQ and the S&P. So constructive to say the least. Meanwhile, more bank earnings to deal with this morning. Kind of a mixed bag. I mean, Goldman was a little bit of a disappointment yesterday. We did claw back some of that initial down move to end the day, basically halfway back, essentially to where we started going into the report. There's JP Morgan, WFC, a little bit more negative this morning, Citi as well. A little bit, well, reversing right now, but kind of chopping around here. So all eyes on the banks, all eyes on macro headlines once again this morning. But I mean, the market clearly just continues to shrug this off, and it's just as you were.
As you were just saying, like, we just erased the post-war losses. So I went to the SPY.
Yeah.
I used my little tool there to drag what the percentage is off the high. We're 1.5% off all-time highs.
Nothing.
Right now. It felt completely different 2 weeks ago, right?
So did you back the truck up down there? And
I got to tell you, this time around, I didn't.
No,
Full disclosure, I didn't buy it this time
I wish
around,
I bought
but,
more.
You know.
Always.
We took advantage during the tariff tantrum last year. That's where I really kind of loaded up. I really haven't loaded the boat since then. But good morning, guys. There's a whole lot to talk about. As you mentioned, JP Morgan in focus, Wells Fargo, Citi. I don't know if we've got Citi yet, but should be out shortly.
Moving around.
They're out, huh?
I don't know. It's just moving around.
I'll check. But what I really liked about Morgan is that we saw the fixed income, commodities, and currencies division of Goldman yesterday really take a hit. 10% down year over year. That was completely different with JP Morgan, which the same division grew at 21%. So their traders clearly a lot better this quarter, growing really nicely here.
It is actually just coming across here. Citigroup Q1 FICC sales and trading revenue, 5.17 billion. Estimate was 5.02 billion. So it looks like a beat. Q1 equity sales and trading revenue, 2.08 billion. Estimate was 1.73. I mean, the trading numbers that have been coming out of some of these banks so far, I mean, Goldman yesterday, just absolutely crushing it.
It's fantastic. At 21% here for JP Morgan, obviously sitting and crushing it as well. So lots to talk about today, guys. J&J also in focus. We'll keep an eye on that. Bloom Energy blowing through $200. I hope you guys were holding on to that one. Also, you've got a tie-up between what's it? Who am I calling here? Lucid as well with some management change. Novo Nordisk with a tie-up with OpenAI. And you're getting some possible American Airlines and United merger talk here. It's been a while since we've seen a big
plane merger?
Exactly, yeah.
Just seeing this note on GlobalStar, GSAT. Amazon is buying GSAT, GSAT, for $90 a share, which was out earlier this morning, but a couple more headlines coming across here this morning on this. So we did just get another uptick there on GSAT. Again, Amazon buying GlobalStar here, another one to look at this morning. But yeah, to your point, the banks have been, I think, pleasant surprise to this point. Let's see if we can continue the trend. But I mean, the beats are getting sold a little bit, but I mean, there's been some mix. Goldman was a little bit mixed yesterday. Yeah. WFC here this morning looks like the worst off.
Yeah, they've been trying to do a little bit better ever since they had that cap, but they're definitely not one of the best performing banks. You can kind of see that from their previous earnings reports. Look, mixed Q1 results, as you mentioned, Brendo, EPS of $1.60, just barely above estimates, but they did miss on that revenue number by about $340 million. So that's probably going to weigh on the stock for the rest of the day. We'll see if it gets bought up. But we saw these financials really get hit before and during the war. We were talking about, XLF, JP Morgan's well off all-time highs. This could help buoy them.
It's crazy. We have to, I mean, you pulled up that higher time frame of the overall market here, but it's worth, if you haven't done so, guys, yet. We're right back, guys, right back. Good morning.
Good morning. Not just that we're right back, and by the way, I know Wells missed, but Citigroup's at 52-week highs. Like Citigroup blew it out of the water, and they are actually having the best reaction of any of the banks, better than Goldman Sachs. Well, maybe not so good, but let's not forget, yesterday you had double digits on Oracle. You had the IGV go another 5% up for Oracle today, as it is making its bottom. When you looked at those software names that were getting smoked, like across the board, I mean, it was cybersecurity was up. Well, IGV is up another point here after making a I don't want to call it a hard bottom, but a nice bottom. So you're getting a nice reversal. We're not breaking all-time highs without everyone participating. And Randy, your favorite company in the whole wide world got an upgrade alongside Tesla, which we're a little more interested in Tesla's upgrade than he's chuckling because Ford caught an upgrade as well. But they're up 2 points. Everything's looking up. Everything's looking pretty much up except for the VIX and except for oil prices, so we'll take it. Ooh, banana time.
Yeah, it's banana time. Yeah, we are just, like I said, when you guys had that discussion yesterday with Joe, and it was like, Joe was thinking maybe mid-summer or early summer, new all-time highs. Like I was saying, I think Friday, I think Thursday, I think maybe even today. You're only 1% away from here. You're getting really, really close. And it's really nice to see us take out all the highs of the last couple weeks, get going. We now have 695 is what we're looking at 700 to break here. You're not like, that's $12 away from an all-time high, and nothing's really even resolved. All we have is, hopefully, we can watch out for oil. Every day we look at oil over on the show, right? But still, you would think, and I was listening to Kramer the other day, every time oil has doubled, the market's gone down 20%. Oil's doubled and the market has done nothing except for get back to highs. So obviously, they're expecting here Warsh to come through, have a decent rate cut. I would assume at this point, looking at rate cuts now all of a sudden. And then we just have to, push forward and look at the jobs possibly as the next possible thing to drop. And then we get all of a sudden, bank earnings are back. Yesterday, Goldman Sachs opens lower, closes only down 1%. JP Morgan, same kind of ways. Nice downside push and now trying to make its way higher. We mentioned last week that Citigroup was the best of the bunch, and there goes Citigroup ripping to highs again here today as we continue to go. And the name that I really like, J&J, downside, it won't be down for very long. This name will close green today as well, as that is now down 1%, so that'll close green. So that'll also help the S&P and the Dow and everything get back up to highs. And then yesterday we had the banger trade with Netflix go through. That's still at the same levels. That's breaking through $100. And then you get Amazon coming out and buying GSAT, so Neil gets some little buyouts going on there, so that's good. GSAT going out at $90, so that's going to be a good little runner there as well. Now halted, that'll come up, open up at $90 cash, and you just market make that one. So
it won't open at noon. That one won't open close to 90.
No, wherever it opens, doesn't matter. It'll just be a market-making thing, and they'll be back and forth with GSAT. So there you go, man. Some great talk coming through on the space, and there goes Amazon, man. Like, we were all wondering what was going on down here at $200. Well, now you're 20% higher, and you're going to take out the longs or the highs here after making those lows, and the longs are going to start to win again here on Amazon. So, yeah, great opportunities today to get into the market. I think it's like whatever you're looking at, probably, I haven't actually looked at XOM or some of these oil spots yet, but there's might be the only thing that's down. Lots of things going on. And then I have my number one idea today actually is IBIT. Let's go. There goes crypto, man. We talked about that. 74 and change. Good move yesterday. Good move into 75,000. Let's see if we want to hold that. That's up 1.5%. So I don't know. I'm looking at everything today, and I think it's going to be a good risk-on day.
It seems like it to me. Realistically, I think you could be looking at oil. You could trade the VIX if you want. Oil looks incredibly weak today, relatively speaking. We do have a super chat from Rusty. Is it? Yeah, no, it's not Rusty. It's Rust. Okay, I'm just gonna call you Rusta. Rustam, yeah. That's better. CMND, and also Sharif, a viewer wants you to look at Hoth today, but CMND. About to, I don't want to jinx it, lose the dollar. Yuckity yuck, yucky yuck. So every now and then, you're going to have one of these where, what is this, clear mind medicine? Yeah. So they met the primary endpoint in FDA-approved phase 1 and 2A clinical trial for alcohol use disorder. That would be good. But it is given up the entirety of the gain. Usually you think like, oh, you see that reversal. I thought you'd also see an offering or something there, but no, the only story is going to be a positive one, but it gives up the gains. But there are other small cappers that are moving. I know someone was mentioning Hoth might try to make a run at $1 today. That should be potentially in play, although it fits the bill of the underneath VWAP, so I don't know how much you're going to like that gapper. But there's plenty to watch. On a day like today, there's so much that's looking pretty bullish in big cap, or pretty much every sector just about has some strength. So I wonder if there's going to be as much attention on some of these small caps. You got AMD that wants $250, like just Friday's high. This is not an all-time high for AMD, but that Friday top at 250 with some room to run. You've got Intel 5 days in a row it's made 52-week highs, or sorry, 5 days in a row it's broken out at the open. It made a 52-week high yesterday. It's just so many names. And then of course, on our watch list today will be Bloom Energy, because they have Oracle expansion and did it hit 200? I think it hit $200. Yeah, it did. Hit 200s back to 198. That's up 12.5%. There is a lot to look at that is incredibly bullish. So yeah, buckle up. Should be fun. Barring some kind of ridiculous headline, we're looking pretty good today.
Right, Tesla, another one of those, trying to get going right now, actually back through 359. Failed at 360 here this morning. Nice gap up, though, an upgrade this morning here from UBS on Tesla. Was one of the strongest out of the gate yesterday morning. We took out the highs from going back to last week, but I mean, it seems to be all positive all of a sudden for this thing.
I like how they upgrade it, but they're just kind of begrudgingly upgrading it, Brendo. So key call, valuation stretched, no longer stretched, I should say, to justify the sell rating. So it's begrudgingly, we're going to have to give you neutral. So shout out to UBS. No, they did upgrade it, guys, from sell to neutral, $352 price target. They see a more balanced risk-to-reward ratio with the recent sell-off. It's down about 21% year-to-date, give or take. So they're saying this is a good time to buy.
Hasn't been great. Let's put it that way. Hasn't been great for Tesla all year long. Here's economic calendar real quick before we continue along. It's worth noting. PPI coming up at 8:30 this morning for March. We'll also get a couple of debt auctions. Might be worth watching. They're very short-term debt auctions coming up around 11:30 this morning. See how the bid side of that is with the current conditions. And then a bunch of Fed speak. Yeah, I mean, it says afternoon, but typically when that happens, they just talk all day long. So we'll keep an eye out for some comments here from Fed speakers.
Kevin Warsh getting the papers in so that he can finally get through the Senate. That should be interesting.
Is this... sorry, I was reading that yesterday and I was like, sorry, what? The guy's had how long to get this ready? And it's just...
It's not even confirmed that he's going to get through. There's some Republicans that are going to challenge him, so it's not a done deal. I'd like to see how this all plays out in the Senate.
Yeah.
Right? So
crazy. Tesla, guys, thoughts this morning?
I actually like Tesla. I like Tesla. It was pretty good structure-wise in terms of yesterday holding $350. Last week 350 was resistance. It broke 350, and then in the afternoon, well, a couple times, and it was late afternoon, but then I guess that would be midday. It was also able to hold that level pretty cleanly. So if it wants to just stay with this whole stair-step idea, I mean, the prior high was 55. So I just kind of well, okay, maybe it's not exactly 55, but this was 355 in here. You get a topping tail there. As long as it holds on to the prior high, there's still more gap to be filled, because Tesla, forget about valuation and all that. That was probably even in the upgrade note. It's got room to whoops. Oh, now it's going to zoom out even further because that's going to fill in. You've got room to 365 up here, so I think a dip and rip looks good. And even then, if you can break through that 65, there's plenty of room to rally. This is barely gone relative to some of the other names that have bounced. And if you look at this, we were talking about this channel for the last little bit. Looks like we've held pretty cleanly, and every single time we sort of held the bottom of the line, it's made its way back up to the top of the channel. That's another way to get you into that low 370s. So even a muted, hey, we just continue in this downtrend, the curl is on from this low, I think we're headed to that 375 for test. And even better if this can break out of this channel, forget about it then. That's where you can see some real explosive upside. Nothing really fundamentally has changed here for Tesla, let's be real. But sentiment is shifting, and when sentiment shifts, you got to be willing to move in the other direction. So respect the fact that it's in that channel, but I think it's headed to that top. So 375 looks like we'll probably get that by the end of the week, but the 55 is where I want to go initially here, a different rip. If it loses that, there's still even 350, so it's worth two shots to me.
I have Tesla written down as the second best idea of the day today. IBIT number 1, Tesla number 2. And I don't know if it's the best one or not, but definitely an idea that I'm looking at. I'm trying to buy some 355s, 354s down into here. So if we do get a move down in for Tesla, I mean, like yesterday, we had seen some action right off the open, and we talked about how to properly trade that, and definitely a missed opportunity right there by gapping and then, sort of gathering and then making that move. So let's wait to see. Yesterday, Tesla does make, it didn't like gap that high. It went from 347, 350 almost, and then back in a little bit. So that's $3 or so. So depending on where we open today, if the market can come back in $2 or $3 back in here to 354, 355, then I really do like that long in and around this area. So if we can get that back in $3 today on an upgrade from UBS, Tesla has to go. So I'm going to be all over this one. Risk on today for Tesla, up 1.7%. So I'll be sitting here trading TSLA and see if we can put on a decent winner for you guys there. And then Ford also catches the same upgrade from UBS, and talking about they may be a little under estimating the power of Ford into 2027. So we'll see if that can get going again here. I own Ford, and it's been good. I mean, I think I'm somewhere around $9 or so on Ford. It does go up to 15, which made it for a good win. Next time we get up here, we'll probably cash some out. So really like Ford, trying to take out the 200 period moving average. Here we go, nice upside for them today. And then we did have Lucid with some sort of something today for Lucid. Let me just read what this is on our note here. Gapping up after announcing the company will receive $1.05 billion in new funding right there. So by the way, if you just do that as well, you can easily type into the chat. There you go. Cut off 1:50 p.m. Oh, that's for the midday. All right. We'll just let that run. And there it is. Yeah, so put in chat whatever you want, $ stocks, any sort of a stock you want us to look at. It will hit the stock visualizer, and we'll get that going. But there's Lucid, right? I mean, this stock has been an absolute crater. You don't want to be investing really in anything EVs these days, but Lucid would be definitely that. There it comes right back in, and almost at, well, it's at 52-week lows, all-time lows pretty much. Right now, we split 1 for 10. That was a complete disaster. And then right down into here, now back into $8. Creating an all-time new low here for LCID. You want to talk about, I mean, poor Saudis. That's the first time anybody will say that. But you do have, this move got into 550, for Lucid with its high at 650. Kind of reminds you of Rivian with their high around 180 or whatever. There it is right there, Lucid. 550 there back in, this was $550 back in 21. Today it is $8. So that's the story of Lucid, and of course, it was never 550 as a stock. It was always split adjusted. So, yeah, that name getting absolutely pumped, and maybe some relief rally. I would say you would fade any rally in this beleaguered EV name. Although I like the cars, just don't ever see any of them on the road. So, yeah, that's it. So IBIT, Tesla, I got Amazon written on here, and looking for one more idea, maybe in the banking space. I really like Amazon today. I think it's doing everything it needs to do, man. It's got that GSAT, like we said, going out at $90. We'll see where that opens up at right now. So they're going to get involved into more of the satellite space. So that'll be a good one here. We'll talk about trading GSAT later. But yeah, Amazon.
You can also, by the way, it's not only cash, because it's also or shares. You can elect to. I don't know if it's prorated, but they're allowing you to take 0.321 or whatever Amazon shares, which is interesting because sometimes people prefer, if it's a really good company, taking the stock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that'll be.
Yeah.
It does give a little more excitement. So, and the fact that it's up on that, the fact that Amazon is up, despite the fact that there's a potential share portion of that, is pretty bullish. Usually,
they're not even paying that much for this thing. I mean, this thing was $80 yesterday. No. It's going out at 90. I'm surprised GSAT would even agree.
Well, there was a rumor last week on it, so it bounced a little bit early. So usually it's like a 90. Look at like the previous 90 days is a more
it doesn't seem
better
like
gauge of premium. But it looks pretty cheap on premium wise. Even if you go back to last week, it's not that bad.
Yeah, we got. I got Amazon again. We're gonna be trading Amazon. I'll probably just be trading these three names: Amazon, Tesla, IBIT today, and then we'll dance around and look at some different names. We had Meta, Microsoft, all these names really battling back, which is real nice. I mean, you could have picked up Meta at 540, less than that. What a mistake that was. He talked about not loading up. That was 530. It's 650 right now. Google was 270 and change. It's 325 right now. So, you know, maybe there is some get up still to go in names like Tesla, you know, that has gone absolutely nowhere, if anything, down now. So yeah, Google, man, giddy up Google. It's really great. I mean, it's nice to look at your accounts finally. And as they just said on the desk there, what a crazy time it was just a couple weeks ago, where we were all the way down here and now we're all the way up. So that's why it just pays out to pay for indexes, right? Get someone to manage your account for you and just buy the best names with the S&P 500, and you don't have to worry too much about it. You close your eyes and just keep on, you know, dollar cost averaging into something like this. Because if you did, you know, then you probably would have bought up here, but then you also would have got some money probably in down here, giving you a better average price, right? That's what the whole point of DCAing is. So, okay, I don't know if we're ready for Joe or what. You let me know there, Andre. And okay, then we can go over to Joe for options.
See the hint.
All right, guys, welcome. A lot going on here in the derivatives market. So let's take a look at some of the options activity from yesterday's session. We're going to kick things off with NVDA, and we're going to be looking at this $190 strike price. Yes, we're trading above that right now, but after the open, I'm going to be really curious to see how we react around these highs. Now, we have a substantial amount of open interest, and we quite often talk about this leading into earnings season. Even though it's one of the later Mag 7 to report, the last, to be honest, this is still a lot of size, and we do have a congestion zone within 190 through 195. So I want to see how the market is looking to absorb this. We're going to look at yesterday's volume as well too, guys. 58,100 contracts opened and closed on yesterday's session. But then we can also take a look at the bid and the ask here. We're sitting around a $3 spread, which isn't bad whatsoever. Considering we're almost at the money, our delta metric's going to be sitting at that 46, which is essentially for every $1 change. So if we climb to 191, you'll see this contract value change $46. So on the ask, it will go up to $249. Now, as for our gamma exposure, the closer that we are at the money, you're going to see a slight increase. Even though that metric slightly, it's not elevated at the moment, I think at some point, if we do continue to climb, you will see a slight increase on that front. And then our at-the-money IV is actually starting to cool down, right? So that could be some bullish sentiment here. All right, moving forward, let's take a look at the next slide, and that's going to be Intel. Intel has been on a substantial run as of late, guys, and we want to look at this $70 strike price as we inch higher, but we're only trading around $60 right now, but I think that we have the opportunity and the potential to climb a little bit higher. We're going to take a look at the open interest here, guys, 31,800 contracts on that specific strike price, but then yesterday we had 42,600 contracts opened and closed. Now, as for our bid and ask, guys, we're only sitting on a $1 spread, not too bad whatsoever. This is where you're going to be collecting on the bid if you're going to look to right, and then as for the ask, that's what's going to be if you're purchasing. Now, for our delta metric, we're sitting 19, right? We're far out of the money currently, but that will increase as you start to gradually climb higher. Your gamma exposure out the money as well, too. And as you get closer to at-the-money strike price, you'll see that slight increase. At-the-money IV sitting around 69.7%, and that's elevated. Before we move on, I want us to take a look at the actual contract's value over the past couple of days. These were almost worth nothing at some point. So earlier in April, we were sitting just at a couple of dollars, and then you see that substantial return all the way up to just below $80 there, $78 to be exact. So that's a big time move within a short period of time, especially after a contract came from something worth $1.40 and then lost the majority of its value. Now, moving forward to the next slide, we are going to be looking at silver. Silver and this potential contract, or this specific contract here, guys, we're going to be looking at a base, and we've been holding up at this $68 mark pretty good. So what I'm thinking here is that we have a potential floor in silver. Why? Because this is going to be the largest amount of open interest on this contract's expiration cycle, 22,500 at that level, and then only 778 contracts opened and closed. Now, as for your delta, once again, always going to be negative as you are on the put side. Your gamma exposure, relatively elevated as well, and your at-the-money IV sitting around 55.8%. If that continues to cool off, maybe you'll get a little bit of a run here in silver. But that's it for now, guys. We'll be back momentarily with some upgrades and downgrades. Let's see what Neil and Sean are up to.
Two of the names you mentioned are silver and NVIDIA. Silver first, because NVIDIA is almost at that 195, which we'll get to that daily chart in a second, because that's sort of an obvious level that has been resistance. But I think silver at this top here, like that 70, like once, twice, you've had pullbacks. It feels like we had a wipeout bottom and a reversal of trend on the daily, but you are at that resistance point. So I'm looking for a dip. I think you can dip back into, if prior closes is around the quarter mark at 68, but like your first stop would be right around this like hump at 69. So I think this one is going to try to fill in the gap for a dip and rip. And then NVIDIA, well, there's no denying whatever was going on for 2 months, 2.5, whatever it was, between 190 and 195 on NVIDIA. We need to see what's going on up there again. Like everything is so bullish at this moment. It makes you feel like there's a decent reality that we'll get a test of that 195, if not today, but certainly potentially tomorrow on NVIDIA. And at least the first look on it, I'm going to play it like it's resistance until proven otherwise at 195. You also have if it gets up there, you'll probably have the market cresting towards some of the tops as well, but there was too much selling up there to just assume that it's going to be clear sailing this time for NVIDIA. Love them, still great value. Obviously the support down there at 170 undeniable, but the 195 level, it's resistance till it ain't. Lots of stocks have a little more smoother sailing in the next few dollars than I think NVIDIA does.
All right, I have NVIDIA on the sticky note today. I'm playing it so easy today. I'm just going all chalk, man. Just the best names long. I think it's risk on day. I think it's an easy day to look risk on. Whether or not it holds, we'll see. I mean, right now with crude making actually a move lower, right now you can see this, futures going higher. So when this loads, there it is. So there's USO making new lows for the morning, and NASDAQ once again taking out some highs. So I think it's just about playing with the best names and just holding and figuring out where dip buy opportunities exist, what the first couple minutes look like off open. I was just going to tweet something out about risk on day here today. So I think it's just looks like it's all aboard. You talked about Intel, Joe, and that was a great name. $66 already here today, $66. So that's a huge move up. 9 straight up days for Intel and just gapping and breaking and going and going and going and going. So this name is absolutely unbelievable. A smarter man would have been loaded up like crazy down here at 18 or 19, like the U.S. government apparently did. This is the first time I started buying it, but there's no way I wish would have put 100 grand in this thing down there. But what a move there for Intel, up absolutely huge. INTC, wow, another possible long. I mean, up half. Double the market right now. NVIDIA's going as well. AMD, as Neil mentioned earlier, that gets going through 250 as well. That's the last time I saw this thing was up at, I think it was 253 or 256 or something. So AMD working it out as well. I don't know I didn't look at MRVL yet today. We're not, well, there it is. 135, that's blasting higher as well. Right now, this might be the best one, up 2%. There you go. So we just randomly find one there. Broadcom, it's just a whole space. So everything working out right now today. Don't be wrong, Broadcom. Oh, everything working out except Broadcom there today, as that's the one that's down. Marvell up 2%, Broadcom up zeros. And then,
actually, what's weird?
SNDK.
The one, it's SMCI is actually higher than most of them, but I think that's more of a factor of SMCI just being so beaten down.
Yeah.
That's probably the best explanation. The entire group's up. Its relief rally just tends to be a little bit larger than most. And as you said, SNDK in that 1,000 mark, that should see, I mean, at some point they got to split, but that's given back $20 off the highs already.
Yeah.
So there's a few, I don't know, maybe the memory ones, when there's money going back into the IGV, maybe memory's going to catch a little bit of a tailwind. It's a weird one because the market's at the top right now, and usually we're accustomed to saying, hey, S&DK up 5% or whatever it would be, and it's already pulled back a couple of points. So worth keeping an eye on, maybe a little bit of relative weakness in some of these memory names. And we just got PPI, so let's go over to the desk.
Yeah, we'll pull that up for March, just coming through here. It's worth noting ADP coming out at 39,000 as well was a little bit better than expected. So PPI for March, the index itself, 154, 153.2 was expected there, 0.5% on the month-over-month number. Prior was exactly the same, pretty much in line with expectations. It looks like a little bit better here on the core PPI year over year, 3.8% versus 4.2 on the consensus. So a little bit better on that number. Core PPI month over month, just 0.1 versus 0.6. I mean, that number doesn't typically move the market too much anyways, but just a heads up, that does come out a little bit better than expected. I was noting some of these banks starting to tick back to the upside once again this morning. Goldman, really. JP Morgan, not really doing a heck of a lot. Maybe we should just recap these. A lot of people just joining right now, talking a little bit about the banks. Citi was the last one that just came out here, better than expected. So back to highs here for Citigroup.
Yeah, and what I was looking at, I haven't had an opportunity to look at Citi quite yet because it wasn't out when I was doing the morning note, but JP Morgan really delivering a solid beat on investment banking, specifically trading. We were talking about this specific category for Goldman yesterday, that FIC category, so fixed income, commodities, and currencies, and they dropped 10% year over year on that quarter. But when you look at what Morgan did for that same category, they grew 21% year over year on that quarter, bringing in over $7 billion. So it's just showing you perhaps maybe a different strategy being employed by some of the floor traders there at JP Morgan. Wells Fargo did miss on the top line number by about $340 million. They did beat on earnings, though. Brendo bringing in $1.60, so a bit of a mixed results for them.
Yeah, we'll see how they follow through here today. It's worth noting the market move there on that number was initially higher. We're giving some back at the moment on both the S&P and the NASDAQ here. A lot of people talking about energy as well. This back to the downside once again today. What a gap that was yesterday morning this time, and then give it all back throughout the entire day for not only oil, but most of the energy names.
Yeah, we had the blockade coming in at 10 a.m., and then, you know, we had to see exactly what that was going to be in real life. There was nobody shooting at each other, so that was good. And then we were getting more information that the Iranians may be interested in negotiating, so we're going to have to keep a close eye on that. But like I was saying to Joseph and some of the individuals on the afternoon rundown or the news session yesterday during the afternoon show, it feels like, and the market looks like it's also predicting that we're at the tail end of this thing, and it's going to come down to what the details are for the ceasefire. So you feel like there's economic pressure now being put on Iran in a way that hadn't been done through the blockade, and obviously that constrains their ability to generate revenue. Their ability to generate revenue obviously is directly correlated to their ability to produce weapons, unless, of course, there's some other power that starts channeling them weapons. We saw China yesterday with a headline. They might give Assassino the shoulder-fired missiles, China coming out and vehemently denying that, so we'll have to wait and see.
If they deny it, do you believe it?
I'm going to tell you, I think that they probably, well, I mean, like, let's just go back to some of the older conflicts. Like, I mean, the Americans did this to Soviets in Afghanistan. They started giving the Mujahideen these rocket-propelled weapons to take down their helicopters, and that's exactly what they did. They caused havoc, and the Soviets left with their tail between their legs.
I mean, if, at the end of the day, if we can barely trust corporate-related headlines coming out of that country, then where are we going to be with anything else? Worth noting, though, guys, the energy group specifically going to be one to watch today.
Oh, well, yeah. I think basically if you looked at oil yesterday, there were two major shocks. It's kind of, I'd say it's obvious to tell. Like, right here at about like 9:45, just a couple of headlines, and then you had another big one just about 12:30 or so, and both times it just kind of took it in another direction. What's more interesting is the second time through, it double bottomed. So you get these liquidity vacuums. We were talking about this in the afternoon show. Like, if you get multiple liquidity vacuums open up on news and the instrument or whatever you're looking at that was shocked catches the same bid, it kind of tells you a little something about that support. Well, that support level it turns into today's resistance on USO. It bounced twice off this 129. Today, well, hey, looky, look where we fell from, 129. So I feel like if we get any move up here that makes the market weak, then you look for a curl or a turn at the 129. Like, I think that's good in and of itself. Like, I'll probably, look for reversions up there. But if we get a dip down in some of our other risk assets because we've pushed into that 129, that's a good space to look for longs in the stocks that you like if we get back up there as a resistance point on USO. Of course, yes, ear to the ground for any kind of big news stories, but yeah, you can't ignore the fact that it bounced twice on news off the same level that's current resistance. So the 129 is where I'll be keying in on USO. Most likely, if we get up there, look for the turn. That's a good place to look for some longs. I like some Intel today, and some IBIT. Maybe that's where you catch those bids if this can even get to the 129. If it just trends down, it's probably like a short to pop situation.
Yeah, I wanted to, there's GSAT opened up right now, $81. So we'll have to wait to see what happens with this one right now. Obviously, it's pretty spready right there as that settles down. With Amazon stepping in and purchasing them for 90 and then 0.321 a share. Interesting how it works out to 0.321. Yeah, here we go. We're starting to get another bid happening right now in SNDK. So that went from 980 down to 960 and now catching a bid right here. You talk about Intel and some of these other names that have been well extended up here. This obviously has $1,000 attached to it at some point, I would think. I don't want to say obviously, but the way it's been moving. Good move yesterday. It only went up yesterday from 870 to up $100 yesterday. So we'll see if SNDK was up over 12% at its highs there. You guys mentioned the banks rallying back a little bit. JP Morgan just hitting down right now. I don't know what's going on there. Down into 310 as that's pulling back just a little bit. Is that, I mean, again, conference calls maybe happening right now. Goldman Sachs not doing anything here. We already had them report, so they're the other day. I just wanted to see if they were having a reaction. Citigroup up 2%, and that's trying to get going there. And then Wells Fargo as well today. So it seems like some of the bank names, although yesterday we were down 4% in Goldman, and they battled all the way back. We'll see if we can do the same thing here with Wells Fargo as that's down 3% here at JP Morgan, starting to tick lower as well right now. So some of the bank names. We talked about maybe XLF getting back into the swing of things here yesterday. Just picking this up on any weakness. We looked at 48 or so yesterday. We didn't get into there because we actually rallied in and didn't make that move down in. So watch out for $50 potential base or so coming through for XLF. I really like that one. Make sure you guys do hit the like and the subscribe. Get involved in the chat right now. Hit the stocks you guys want us to look at as well. Should be lots of fun happening today in the market, as I thought it was going to be a pretty good risk-on day. The market's kind of flat here, though, off the open. We haven't done too much. PPI comes out, spike to the high side there. Now a nice little fall back in, right into the lap of VWAP. So we'll see if that can wind up holding down here at 25,640. Just working on the note. That'll be out very, very soon. Look, I mean, this war has created opportunity, and you're able to, dip by pretty much on anything in the last couple of weeks. And now you're all the way back up to the upside. Will these highs hold? Who knows? Obviously, we've been up here before. We just mentioned 1.5% away from all-time highs. So let's see if we get another look up there by the end of the week and potentially break through and on earnings. I mean, that's really what we want to see, right? We want to see stocks moving on stock-related things. I mean, what does the war in Iran have to do with NVDA? Probably nothing other than the fact that we got to worry about shipping costs and what winds up happening through global fears. But, will banks seem to be shrugging it off a little bit? We'll see what big tech says. Yeah,
confirming. JP Morgan's call is right now. They started at 8:30, so that would be probably the only reason why it just came down a couple of bucks. Just be careful. Yesterday was a bit interesting because I feel like the Goldman Sachs call was over in like 15 minutes. Usually that's not necessarily the case, but the JP Morgan currently has the call going on. If you're watching this from yesterday's levels and then this morning, like in the pre-market, it did bounce same place twice. I don't know if it gets back down into 303, but we've seen the banks before. That's the 200-period moving average as well. So maybe there's a retest of that because of something they say on the call. Again, there's a bit of a history with Jamie Dimon being, Shree says Jeremy, Jamie Dimon being pretty conservative with his, rhetoric's not the right word, but his tone, right? So sometimes that can cause a little bit of weakness that is worth buying into. Don't know if it gets all the way down to that retest of the 200 period. That'd be a hefty drop. It might have already made its bottom in the pre-market like Goldman Sachs did, and that wouldn't surprise me. Wells is the only one you got to be. I think that's the one you got to be concerned with, because it's making a bit of a flat bottom break here on Wells. So, like, that's support to be determined on Wells Fargo. Citi looks good. Goldman was good yesterday. Just heard MRVL pop in the ear. Sometimes they just say MRVL popping, and it's like just because it made a high, there is no new story. But making a new fresh high here is MRVL. So I think the chips are leading the way. Just don't sleep on any potential like values we might get out of the banks on that day one after earnings. That's been the case lately, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see a little bit more of that. All quiet on the small cap land, though. I'm a little surprised. Like, I was looking at the visualizer, and there's that roller stock. I don't know if it's actually, oh, it is high. Okay, well, High Roller Technologies. All right, why not? Why not? High Roller Technologies almost doubled up. You can see Palantir on there. You got Oracle, CMND, which we did get a super chat on. Palantir made a strong move yesterday. GSAT, we've already talked about GlobalStar. You got Microsoft, SNDK, Amazon, we've gone over. AAL, I'm a little surprised by that merger talk. Like, it's one of those, yeah, the regulator's gonna let that happen, huh? So they'd let that happen, but they were trying to block smaller ones, but it is what it is. Sometimes the regulators can be very fickle when it comes to that. But Roller leading the way and possibly leading the percentage gainers. Looks like it just tagged $10 in what they do. Interested in what they do. High Roller, that's a great name. That's High Roller Technologies. Looks like they're higher. They announced they're announcing a definitive agreement with Crypto.com to enter the U.S. prediction market. So that would be the news story for Roller here. Kind of a crowded market, but we'll see. Maybe it'll run.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. Yeah, trading is a fun thing to do. You just got to have a strategy, and Roller is rolling this AM. Upgrade, lowers price target on Snowflake right here, Evercore ISI, another one of these sort of SaaS names here that continues to get pumped a little bit. We did have some nice rebounds yesterday. I saw Adobe and Microsoft and the IGV finally starting to catch a little bit of a bid, but $80 still. What is the low of this thing? We're getting close, yeah, 75. So there it is, like a nice move yesterday off the lows of IGV right there. So nice bounce back in some of the software names led by, of course, Oracle. And Oracle is just an absolute monster once again here today. I mean, Oracle up. This low is 130, man. You're up another 5% right here with their warrants on Bloom Energy. There can be exercised at like $113 or something. And there goes BE up to $200 today. So apparently Oracle's accrued almost $300 million alone in this opportunity with Bloom. So there it goes, BE up 12.3% today, and Oracle kicking higher as well. I almost wrote this one down on the watch today as well. I just didn't know if it was going to get back into this 158, 159 area, but I do like a lot of chalk names today for me, as we said. Like I like Tesla moving higher today. I mean, I don't think there's nothing rocket science for me. I really like IBIT as well moving today, and it's just sort of been barcoding all morning. But you know, crypto has been a story, and if you look at the daily chart, that looks like it's trying to break through as well here on IBIT. So it's looking like a risk-on day. I mean, anything can change at any moment with the drop of a truth or you know, some sort of a change in rhetoric from Iran or whatever happens here. Although we're not really getting.
Someone fires at somebody in the ball. Yeah.
I don't even. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what's going to change the story here, because yesterday we had that whole blockade and we saw what happened with oil went the other way. All right, we've got an exciting guest, one of the favorites. He's back again. Let's go back over to the desk and get our guest of the day with Brendan and Sharif.
Yeah, happy to have him back. Let's bring him right in. Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer from T3 Live, joining us once again to talk about where we are at. That's a mouthful, Scott. We gotta maybe do something about that. Great to see you, by the way. Welcome back. It was a very well-received first time around. Happy to get your opinion here on where we are. I guess just start from a high level here. I mean, this feels a little bit too good to be true. You know, can I go that far? You know, we were talking as we came on this morning, 1% and change from all-time highs. What's going on?
I know. We seem to get these V bottoms and then all of a sudden relentless action. So that's why you really have to have multiple plans and you can't be stubborn. You know, some people were stubborn on the way down and now they're being stubborn on the way up versus looking for the setups and looking for the opportunities. I think last time we were here, I talked about, like, I'm 53 years old. I'm a little older than the average trader out there. We've all been, been doing this a long time, pretty experienced. So we try and have multiple game plans, multiple approaches to the market. If you look here at the chart, I put on the SPYs. Right around March 20th was where I put my tier one, what I call the blood in the street account to work, which is actually a long-term account that I can't put monthly inflows. It's a long story, but I remember we talked about tier one being right there for the long term, and then tier two being below, the low of the move, which was 9.8%, because I like to space it out. I thought maybe we can be 12% off, the highs, and it just didn't happen. So I only put tier one in. I have 3 tiers usually, so that's one account, blood in the street, back to work. I haven't taken that off yet. A lot of traders like to model my blood in the street account to their swing account, and that's when they start putting on some swings. I didn't really start putting on some swing longs until really this day. This was April 2nd. I don't know if you guys remember. You had that first move up. We gapped down on April 2nd, and that was the day as an active trader, you're like, wow, oil went up, and we absorbed the weakness, and everyone was scratching their head, and that's when people started using their opinion to short the market, and that's when probably some prudent traders started to put on some swing longs, because at that point, you had the S&P and the Qs, and everything was below the 200-day, and then you had the memory names holding the 50-day. So right there, you had your leadership. So now you had the potential bounce in the indices. 401ks should be always put to work no matter what. Blood in the street, tier one, so those 2 different accounts. And then now you can start putting some swing trades on depending on the action. And then you judge it day by day to see if you can actually stay with it. So everyone keeps talking about SanDisk. And obviously SanDisk, if you look here, gave you multiple ways. So when the market was making new lows, okay, SanDisk made a higher low at the 50-day. So this was your time to really enter it as a swing trader. And then when it got above the all-time high, boom, we extended, and now it's up. Today's not your day to buy SanDisk. Sorry, today's not your day. You missed it. It's up 14. Chances are, this SanDisk could probably even go from green to red if you're tactical. But SanDisk, Western Digital, Seagate, and MU a little bit with a leadership group. And then once they started going, you started to see last week the Mag 7 names start to act better. So that's when finally Amazon started acting better. Google started acting better. And for me, I made a lot of money last week in Amazon because I was buying it. If you look at the chart, go to Amazon, look how tight it was right here. It was tight right in here, holding higher while the market wasn't. First time in a while that was happening. So for me, I was in it here. You had that gap up, and you could have bought it above 226 to fill the gap. And I sold into this move, but I didn't buy it back yesterday. Just because, again, we were up 6-7 days in a row, so I kind of moved down the food chain. So Amazon participating, then you had, Google, which also gave you a really nice pattern here. Again, last week, didn't matter what was going on with the rhetoric, but last week got back above the moving averages, and then you could even bought the dip, verse 311, either a few days ago or even yesterday. So, you could play as a trader different parts of each move. You don't have to be in the move the entire time. You want to evaluate your risks. So Amazon and Google were my best trades last week, but then coming into this week, my best trade was, in the software capitulation. On Friday, I bought options in ServiceNow down here, just saying, hey, I don't want to be in the stock because I don't catch falling knives, but I think I have a rule whenever they're talking something about CNBC 30 different times and calling it the apocalypse, you usually take the other side of the trade. Same way you start putting money to work when they have the octagon with their markets in turmoil. So anyway, yesterday, Friday, I started buying some NOW calls. And then yesterday, when I saw the action in software, I actually bought the stock. And, I'm going to make a little bit of money, but this is just a broken trade. Same way you could have done the same thing you guys were talking about Oracle. Look at that candle in Oracle. So this candle right here gave traders a clue and a reason to say, hey, I could be in Oracle right now. Look at the potency of that move. And now you're getting paid. And, you have 171 as resistance where you're going to measure it. So what I try and tell my guys is as long as there's a reason for you to be in it, you could be in it. And if that reason changes, then you have your stop. So I have this thing called the virtual trading floor, which is right here. You guys could see it. This is called the Alpha Team. So they get to see my trades live. So far, all I've done this morning is trim into this strength. I started to buy swings again last week, and now today I'm managing them. So if you look, they could see, you can go over, like I have NVDA, I trimmed a little bit. I have MU, I trimmed it twice. IBIT was great. I bought on Friday, added red yesterday, and now I'm trimming some. That's a great 3-day trade. If you can catch a 3-day trade where you manage it with size, that pays a lot of traders' bills. So I'm selling some of that. Yesterday, for the first time, I think in 3 months, I bought Robinhood, and I'm trimming a little bit, but I think laggards like that have some more room. Iron, I bought on Friday, trimming some. ServiceNow, trimming some. Like I said, I have options. So basically, the market is giving me no reason to get away from everything, But at this point, the oscillator, which I follow, is plus 60. It gets overbought at plus 40. So now I'm losing a little bit by selling some SPY premium as a hedge to try and manage the process. So at this point, I'm talking a lot. You guys are just listening, which is great. But do we go back and make new all-time highs? Like people, that's not that important. What's important is what's your time frame and how are you managing it. So if we do get a pullback today into tomorrow, you're not buying this morning, hitting it out tomorrow, and then it resumes later. So your entries and exits matter. It always matters. And today, to me, it's not the day to be aggressive with new longs, but it doesn't mean you also have to short. You could just be on with a little less.
Scott, I want to get your take on that exact thing, but the importance of earnings season here. In the past, it's been all about 7 stocks when we head into earnings season specifically. This time feels different. Are you approaching this one specifically a little different?
To be honest, I haven't even really thought about earnings season yet. I've been trading the emotion of the war, been trading the emotion of oil. Yesterday, when Goldman Sachs gapped down, people like Red Dog, could you make a chart of Goldman Sachs? And I'm like, sure. So I made a chart and I showed him, like, hey, all the moving averages are around 860, see if it holds. You could buy versus the first 5-15 minutes, and if it makes a new low, get out of the way. And yesterday, Goldman Sachs absorbed the weakness. So now it's setting up. So you didn't even have to be in there for earnings. Now wait for the chart to set up. And at some point, it takes this out, and then you have a good trade in Goldman. But yesterday, it was a good buy in the hole, so that should give traders the idea that, hey, maybe they're going to sell JP Morgan, which is always noisy post-earnings, but it could do the same thing. So JP Morgan has the gap. Goldman filled it. I'm like, you know what? So I write language on every chart. Where's my language to this one? So just I went basically say Goldman was lower post-print and made it slow in the first 15, 30 minutes. Let's see what JP Morgan does. It was 302-ish, which it was pre-market. Now use 305 as a key. So that's my thought process for there. So doesn't mean I'm going to trade JP Morgan. I'm just being the chief strategic officer, which was hard for you guys to say earlier. I've said it a lot of times in the last 25 years, so I could say it. But then you have to think about earnings season. When will your stock report? So what I try and do is, like, I saw a note on Apple from BAML this morning talking about how they think the quarter is going to be okay, the buyback's going to be additional, the dividend is going to stay intact. So I'm like, you know what? Apple is kind of tight. Lately, it doesn't like to go up when the market goes up. So if we can get a pullback or a retracement a little bit in the indices, maybe Apple goes up. But then I'm like, Apple's coming out with numbers on the 30th, and right now it's only the 14th. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to go buy the 270 calls in Apple for earnings, just in case there's a pre-earnings move. So I'm kind of anticipating the stock's not doing anything, so I don't need to be in the stock because it's not moving yet. Some people might say, hey, be long versus 256, and then you could also add when it gets above 262. That's how you would frame that trade. So what you want to do is you want to look, when does your stock report? What has it done? Is it priced for perfection, or is there still room? And for something like Apple, which hasn't done anything yet, and I love Apple, I have, it's near and dear to my heart because I've been trading it for so long. People used to call me the Apple trader like 15 years ago. And then I was the Tesla trader, and then I was the Sand. But anyway, I trade what moves and what's in vogue. But right now, what I'll do is I'll buy the 270 calls. If Apple does a pre-earnings move as we get closer and it goes there, then maybe I'll turn it into a call spread and let the action finance the play, and it could be for free. So what you want to do is, if you're investing in a company, you need to know what the story is for earnings. If you're trading it, I never take stock into earnings. I only take options because risk is premium paid. I don't care what you think, it could, if you get paid for April, or the second quarter, you're wrong into earnings. You could lose your whole every single day you just worked for. So for me, my strategy on earnings is if I feel like I'm going to miss something, I usually go with options because risk is premium paid, or I map out the levels, I wait for the print, and I trade it after hours if the setup's there.
Great stuff. Great insight, as always. Scott Redler from T3 Live, Chief Strategic Officer at T3 Live. Great to see you. Thanks for this once again.
My pleasure.
Fantastic options talk from Scott. Risk is premium paid. I agree with that. Also looking into some call spreads as well. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the analyst actions here this morning. We're going to kick things off with some downgrades and start it with Monday.com. Piper Sandler downgrading them, also lowering their price target from $100 to $85. You're down about 0.4% here this morning. Fastly's holding on to positive here this morning, going from a buy to a hold with a price target of $24 by Craig Hallam. Also Asana on the list, guys. You're negative 3% here. Also getting the downgrade. Price reduction from $9 to $7 with a neutral weight rating by Piper Sandler. And then we have Green for Life, GFL here, guys, down 0.6%. Price target being lowered from $49 to $42 by JP Morgan. Moving forward, let's take a look at some of the upgrades this morning. You've heard the gentleman talking about this on multiple occasions. We're going to kick things off with Tesla. UBS giving them the nod. You're up 1.8% here. Also getting a price target increase to $352. Goldman Sachs also getting the nod, guys, with a price increase by Williams-Sonoma from 185 to 218. You're just holding on to negativity here. Now also General Motors getting the nod, guys. You're up 2.25%, a little bit less than that. Price target increase, but with a buy rating, their target being increased from $83 to $90 by Deutsche Bank. And then we have Crocs, Seaport Research giving them the nod. You're up 2.2% here today with a $135 price target. Let's send it back to the boys.
Thank you very much, Joe, and great guest, Scott, dropping some absolute gems. I want to talk about Robinhood, but before we get into some more stock talk, Broadcom is sort of extending this move down here. Now down about down to 370, tagged 368 on the lows, 2.5%, going in absolutely the other direction relative to the market. So we already talked about how MRVL was gapping higher and moving up. It looks like you're getting the inverse move is the word I'm looking for over there with Broadcom. We're extending it. It was already happening. Now it's actually extending that in either direction. And one of the names Scott mentioned, he was like, oh, Robinhood hopefully has some room to run. I think there's going to be a lot said about how close we are to the highs, right? The all-time high in the SPY or on the Qs. But I think in some cases too, like there's so much catch-up to be played by individual names. And we mentioned the Mag 7 with Tesla, but Robinhood here, you've got the 70K hold of Bitcoin. Now it's trying to hold on to the big 74 level, which we'll probably get to at some point. The 50 period looks like that can go today. So I think it's going to confirm in the next, today or tomorrow, that you've got a bit of a bottom. And candidly, I already bought in the consolidation, so I'm just looking for it to get back to in the money because I'm just underneath the $80 level in this consolidation. But either way, I like the look of some of these bottoming patterns in the chart. But they have, like, what they've done is given you sometimes a day, maybe a couple of days, if you're looking at some of the weaker names of runs, and they haven't really confirmed much yet in terms of breaking out major resistance levels. So some of these still have some tests to be proven. Like, look at what happened up at like $77 on Robinhood last week. You think that's not going to be important when it gets there? Can it punch through is going to be key. It's not all roses on every single stock just because the market is approaching the highs yet.
No, we're getting, as you mentioned, we're getting a lot of roses there on MRVL. I mean, this could be a name that just continues to play, right? I mean, we still have, we got it at 20% yesterday, but we still got a huge position here as MRVL. Just, I'm not even sure what's going on here. Up 5% right now for MRVL as that just continues to tick higher and higher and higher. I don't know. This is another name that's just sort of gone parabolic. I do like Scott's idea about, trading stock ahead of earnings, right? I mean, try to line up what you think is about to happen. Try to, read the tea leaves, figure it out. Apple, he likes it into the 30th of April, they report. So give it 2 weeks. buy the 270s. I mean, that's some option talk right there. I think that makes some sense. We could probably extend through 270, but if you do get that run, as you were mentioning, into all-time highs and whatever for the market, then Apple probably just sort of drifts higher anyways, and then comes up with a decent report, and then there you go. So I don't know what a 270 would cost you into April, end of April, maybe early May, but that's a nice move there for Apple that we're looking for as well. So I think, trading, you're not getting into earnings season. So, names like Amazon that has a lot of, hopefully a lot of tailwinds now behind it, they could come up with a good number as well. So we'll look to see if Amazon into earnings, like, wow, just what a move some of these stocks have had. As Neil said, not everything, right? SoFi, some of these bank names still continue to be relatively valued down near their lows as well. So we can see if SoFi wants to get going back upside. And I think really with Bitcoin starting to potentially go now, you're going to get some good push forward in some of these names like SoFi, IBKR, so on and so forth. Charles Schwab's been beat up a little bit as well. As they worried a little bit about, what software and what, some of these Claude bots and Anthropic can do. IBKR is already well back to the upside. And then Figma is a name that when we talk about a beat up name for a minute, this is one of those IPOs that just has not gone right. You want to talk about some names that are near lows. Look what Figma has been doing, man. This is $19 right now, as it did touch 125 back in the summer. So you're down 90% or so on FIG. So there's a lot of names that maybe you can pick up some for value. I wouldn't be trusting Figma. Down here we saw Beyond Meat yesterday make some runs as well. Names, what was that? RMSG. That yesterday, Real Messenger broke through $1. Now today it's $3. Like what a huge move that we saw yesterday after hours, man. This name got to 380 yesterday after opening back up right there at 4 o'clock, shot back the moon there. So this name was $1 2 days ago or less, and now got over $3. We'll see if it can do that again. RSMG. So definitely lots happening. Let's just see if we can keep some of these bids going. Market not doing much, flat right now to start the day. We got our rundown and our watch list. Lots of stuff to talk about here. Let's go back over to the desk.
686 and a quarter, Brendo. That's where we closed out yesterday on the SPY. Here's the deal, guys. Remember this inverse head and shoulders we were talking about, which was preceded by a downtrend? We said the low was going to be 630, and we said the neckline break was 660. So if we're to project a measured move from the low to the neckline break, that's about $30. So 660 at 30, that's 690, and that is almost where we are, Brendo, 687.74. In fact, that 690 level where I'm expecting resistance happens to also jive with this downtrend line where we're putting in basically lower highs for the majority of the year. So I'm looking for 690 as resistance if we start catching a bid. If we start selling off, we're looking to that flat bottom, flat top that we had as resistance last week, 682 and a quarter.
All right, as always, if you haven't done so, grab this free watch list for you. Down below in the description is the link. You can use your email to grab that. Comes right to your inbox every single day. Has everything that's moving around in the pre-market and why. Comes about 8 o'clock or just before 8 o'clock every single day. And then you join us at 8 on YouTube. We get you set for the open. Let's go. Tesla with an upgrade, as we mentioned, if you were with us in the first 30 minutes here. Yeah, we took out that high from yesterday right out of the gate, and then it kind of struggled with it, I guess. Back and forth around that 350 support ended up being a thing yesterday, but starting to see, hopefully, a little more positivity here for this thing.
I would hope so. It's a good look. Lately, not on the year, down still 21% year to date, but they did catch an upgrade from UBS, moving them up from sell to neutral and boosting that price target to, as you mentioned, $352. They see a more balanced risk to reward setup after the recent pullback. As we mentioned, it's down about 21% year to date. So what better time than now? They're saying the stock now reflects both the near-term EV demand weakness as well as a long-term upside from what they're calling physical AI. We're talking about robotaxi and, of course, Optimus. They say, look, all the near-term headwinds that we've been talking about, the weak EV demand, all that is already priced in. What stood out to me, though, was that they're actually expecting Q1 of this year to be weak for their energy segment. And we've been talking a lot about how that energy segment has been quite strong, one of their fastest growing segments, in fact. And we'll find out all of this because they do report on the 22nd after the close, not that long ago, not that long from now, I should say.
Yeah, we're getting right into the meat here for earnings season coming up in the next couple of weeks. Tesla guys, thoughts? We're finally through these levels or prior resistance levels. If this gap holds, maybe all signs point to up.
Well, you just said it right there, prior resistance levels. That's where I want to look. You pull back into those, and we're going to like you. There, you look, support at 350 speaks for itself. I think it's worth a couple of tries today because Tesla, it's one of the things Scott said. It's like there's some things that have more room to run. I mentioned Robinhood as one, and you can make an argument that Tesla, relative to the mags, is sort of the same thing. So I think you're headed for at least a retest of the bottom or the top of the down channel, which would be around the mid 370s on the daily. So you got support at 350, you've got prior highs, call it like 354 and a half, 355. But if we get a dip down to those levels, I'm going to like it there for Tesla. Just one word on, I know we were showing Broadcom going to the downside. There's some chatter online. There's concerns related to Google starting to diversify its TPU supply chain as a potential reason for the move in Broadcom. I just realized we showed you guys a chart a couple times and we didn't really mention that headline. Yeah, but I like some dip buys here in Tesla.
Yeah, I have, I don't like dip buys. I love dip buys in Tesla today. Dip buys in Tesla today are the thing for me. There it is, 354 to 355 long. We'll see if it winds up coming through. So it's going to be on the node, and we're going to trade what's on here. So we're going to be looking at Tesla today off the sticky note. And I just really, I mean, just looking at it, upgraded today, up 1.7%. Market not doing anything. Tesla trying to, I mean, it's not going lower. Potentially going to try right off the open to take that out. I'm not here to, bust this through. I do think that's going to be a good trade, though, breaking through 360. I just don't know if I want to hit that breakout right now because we saw what it did yesterday, and I'm just going to try to see if the same sort of thing happens. So there's yesterday. We opened up, we take off, we come back, we give ourselves a base, and then we blast through. So this is what I'm going to be looking for today on Tesla, and I just think if it does come through into this 356, well, now it's 356, so we'll probably have to hit that. I wrote down 354. That's where the 200 period was when we first wrote this down. But if we start to base out around 356, and we're going to go long on Tesla today on that upgrade, I just think it's time to go. I don't know if it goes, but you could definitely get a little bit of a bump today. As we see many of these other names starting to get going, why can't Tesla do the same? Of course, at 925, we will have the imbalances come through. We do have Ford as well with a very similar upgrade there from UBS. This is more on the cars, though, talking about strength into 2027. And now, right now, you're up to 1250. That's breaking out through your 200 period moving average. This could actually wind up being better than Tesla. So we'll look at both of these, but Ford back in here, 1235, Tesla back to 356. I want to be on both of those. So that's what I'm going to be looking for today. Ford long, Tesla long. I like this space, and I think it can create some actionable trades today. Tesla long, as well as Ford.
Let's talk some oil. Back to the downside once again this morning. Ever so slightly here. That's just XLE. I mean, you can pull up the futures. Have a look at oil anyway. We're bouncing off support here a little bit, but so after the gap yesterday, it just sold all day long. Here we are again today at that same level.
And you know what they're talking about now? They're talking about demand destruction because of elevated prices for a long time. So here's what we mean. The International Energy Agency is warning demand destruction will spread. They're saying, look, they're downward revising, in fact, the amount of barrels that they expect to be used. They're saying, we're revising down to 730 KBD. I'm assuming that's kilobarrels per day versus the prior forecast. And they're expecting 1.5 MBD demand to drop in Q2 of 2026. They're saying that that's going to be the sharpest decline in demand since COVID. So early signs of demand slowdown already visible in the Middle East and Asia Pacific. They're saying the weakness is concentrated specifically in jet fuel as well as LPG, and there's some other petrochemicals. The takeaway here is that high prices are starting to reduce consumption globally. We'll have to see if that's a temporary thing or whether or not it's going to be a permanent issue. But I do remember back February, March, April of 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine and we saw the 170s, the 180s in gas here. And then you and I were talking about this. The Teslas were selling for like 65,000 4 or 5 months earlier, the Model Y, and then they were selling for 95,000. I don't think we've had that kind of reaction this time around.
No.
Because it was a kind of a perfect storm last time. They couldn't make as many Model Ys because of the shutdowns, and oil was going up. Not the same problem this time. We only have one of the variables.
And I mean, you and I were just talking about Mercedes specifically off camera there a little bit, but there's so much more options. There's so many other, choices for people to have, and there's going to be more and more and more and more over the next 2-3 years as well. So I think that has also really changed the EV landscape, but we'll see. Weakness anyways, guys, as far as oil again today, individual names, not so much right now, but worth watching.
Yeah, I think when we talk about oil here, I think, yesterday was an example of support coming in at the exact same price when news hits and the market makers dropped a bit, and that was at 129. So if it was resistance before and then support pretty much the entirety of the day until like a late day drop, 129 is the level to watch for me on USO. Like for me, there's really nowhere else to look. If it gets up in there, I think that's where you look for a short. That'll also give you a nice little base in theory for, oil, energy down, markets up kind of deal. If we get back up there for reversions, that's a place to buy some dips. So, when looking at IBIT today, when looking at Intel, if the market does, if the oil futures market get up there to the 129, I'll be looking for the dip buys if I'm not in, say, an Intel at that moment, if I'm not in a Tesla in that moment, if I'm not in an IBIT at that moment, I'd look for the bounce play. Because that 129 was pretty distinctive in yesterday's trade. Just very quickly, I know we had a couple of super chats. I wanted to at least try to fire a couple up there. I know we had JKL here with the hot dad walk report saying your SILJ and SLV. I didn't realize it was both. I thought it was just SILJ, the miners there. Could close out in the morning. It is Taco Tuesday. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. We don't know what it is. It looks pretty bullish right now, but it's been a pretty good run. You saw silver up. I'm assuming SILJ done very well for you as well. So appreciate you, JKL, and best of luck in your trading today. We'll get that one out of there. Uh-oh, shoot.
We do have, so oil, I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to see if there's going to be any sort of a update today on the Strait of Hormuz. We did hear something about some ships returning around there, but there is a blockade, so that makes sense. And yeah, yesterday, just if we're looking at how yesterday traded on the 1 minute chart, easy move to the downside. Easy, I don't know, it was clean. And then we bumped up. And the thing is, we didn't really respect VWAP yesterday too much. We were, ending up to the downside. This little break right there of 130 on USO, I mean, if we do somehow rally back up into this point, I could maybe see that as potentially being a short. I would think this is just with the NASDAQ going higher today and ES higher, I think oil eventually just breaks down again. So yeah, 127 looking like that's a good take lower right here. So I think I could probably go short oil right here. If we do rip up to 129, fine. I think that would be another great short area. So I'm looking basically right in a channel right here, right now, between 129 as our short or 127 as the breakdown play. So I think that makes sense there, 127. And this is just USO. You have to actually look at, physical oil to see what's actually going on there, but it'll mimic it 1-to-1. So as we continue to look over there on CLK, downside continue play, right? So down 3% there. Oracle, we're hearing in our ear popping as well. So, it's definitely a risk on day. This is why I'm trying to, express the short for oil. So if that continues to work, look, oil can go up like we saw yesterday. It was up, 1.5%, 2% at the end of the day. NASDAQ's still up 1%. So oil can flatten out and do nothing. But I think just with the market moving higher here, the trade would be long market, short energy. And right now, that definitely seems to be working out. Wow, look at Oracle. This might be one of the best ones, man. 135 bottom, 165 right now. Taking everything out and going right back to February levels. Right now is Oracle on the daily. Wow, that would have been a great one to be picking up down near some of those lows once their financing got all sorted out. But there goes Oracle right through 170. Might be that next play now for ORCL. 6.5% again today. Wow, what a name. That continues to go. All right, let's go back over more bank earnings today. So that's starting to kick it off. And, so far the market's been absorbing these not great earnings, but let's see what happens with JP Morgan today.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we just went green on JP Morgan and then some, up to 315 here. So new highs. What a reversal this has been. $15 almost off the lows here after their report. I mean, kind of a mixed bag right across the board as far as the group goes once again this morning, but a little more positive as far as the price action is concerned.
Yeah, this was a good report. There was one issue where they guided down for net interest income, but otherwise I didn't see too much of a problem with it. Let's go through it. Q1, easy beat, EPS 594, beating the 545 expected by the street on revenue of $50.54 billion. That easily beats a 49.17 and also grows at 2.8% year over year for that top line number, of course. Net interest income, I should say, did rise. Sorry, net income rose 13% year over year. That's that take home money. They brought in about $16.5 billion. Let's go through quickly their different divisions. Fixed income trading revenue popped 21% year over year, up about 7.1 billion. Compare that to Goldman, which dropped about 10%, meaning the traders here for JPM a little bit better. That beat expectations. Investment banking fees jumped 28%. The bank did lower, though, their full year 2026 net interest income guide to about $103 billion. That's down from 104.5, Brendo. And then, of course, our friend Jamie Dimon had to give his comments. He highlighted the resilient U.S. economy. He did, however, emphasize that there are rising risks. He mentioned geopolitical tensions, energy volatility, trade uncertainty, and elevated asset valuations. How long have we been hearing elevated asset valuations? I feel like since maybe COVID.
But is that, honestly, I saw a couple of these yesterday, these like quotes, and it's like, it's starting to become a thing where it's specifically with the banks, they just pull out these like, you know, quotes that they just use every single call. And it's just like, which one is going to fit in where during the call? Like, it's getting to that point with some of these. But anyways, we're green, guys, for JP Morgan.
Well, I think there's what, like in the last 2 or 3 weeks, like one red day or something like JP Morgan going into earnings. So it didn't take for, yeah, what are you going to do? I suppose you're not going to see a revisit of that 302 support. There was a moment during the call when it was like, maybe they're losing VWAP in here and you can play the old buy the dip game on bank earnings. Well, forget about that. That's completely gone. I would think at least what we've been seeing is it hasn't been like rip your face off. So like there might be like a little settling period and maybe there's still an opportunity off the 200 for JPM. I just think it's, yeah, unfortunately that one might have given you your chance at a dip. So like the one that's really looking very different is Wells at this point. Like Wells just lost 84. It looks like this could flat bottom break a little bit here. And it was basically led by a revenue miss for Wells Fargo, but the rest of the report looked pretty solid. I would think this one can give you an opportunity. If you're looking for a bit of a base, it had that 81 level to work off of. I'm more interested in Morgan Stanley. I believe they're not even tomorrow. They're not even till, I don't think they're till Thursday, to be honest. That's the one I'm the most interested in. But I think if you're looking for like the trading vehicle that's doing something different, like Wells Fargo gives you a bit of a different look where you might have a chance to be able to catch some kind of a bottom around that prior support. But JP Morgan, I guess that chance is gone now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I still think it's a good opportunity to watch to see what happens right there off the open. I mean, you're only flat on the name, but yeah, to be able to dip by would have been something. Scott highlighted when he was there 302. I'm not going to get into that, but a pullback into VWAP. Whenever there's a gap, play to VWAP, but this is not really a gap. We closed right here at 313. So, we can always have a quick look at these imbalances and see if there's anything kicking off on here as well. Oracle with a buy. You remember the NASDAQ comes out 925. So you have 7 minutes for that. SMR kicking over $10. So that's nice. I don't see anything on here for JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, or Goldman Sachs. So right now, not going to play off of that. But yeah, I would say Citigroup is the one that continues to excel. I mean, this is actually broken through 52-week highs, now taking out that 124, up that 1.3%, and just no confusion about this report, right? Came out straight upside, holding now VWAP at 127.50 right there, 127.80, 90 is the look. Obviously, you're going to have a little bit of a gap issue. We talked about yesterday liquidity, gaps, and vacuums and everything off the open. So, with earnings, that's what's going to happen here with Citigroup. But this is where I would look. I wouldn't even look at JP Morgan today. I think it's just Citigroup right here. It's a good price, $128, a little cheaper, than JP Morgan not tying up your capital. And it just looks like it has some good levels to play off of, right? I mean, even if you dip down in, 50-period support, which we really like as well, is right here at yesterday's close. So if you get into 127, I think you can definitely find some sort of support from yesterday's closing print and the 50-period moving average, so on a 5-minute chart. So that's what I'm looking for. Citigroup rather than JP Morgan today as a more clean buy where you don't have to guess. So a strong name, Citigroup, looks like it wants to extend through today. Tech is monstrous, man. And now you get that good news from Amazon buying GSAT. So let's go find the story about tech names. And I'm long all tech today, sticky note littered with it.
Yeah, there was another note with Apple extending an earlier deal with Amazon as well. Speaking of Apple, coming back in a little bit right now, but among the stronger of this group, Amazon trying to get back to the upside right now as well. I brought this up when Scott was on for a reason, and that was specifically going into earnings season. You know, in the past, it's been, for as long as we can remember, it's been about 7 stocks. Yeah. You know, earnings season is building up to the Mag 7 and then everything else after the Mag 7. Let's be honest. It feels like this one's different a little bit. There's more, because of what has happened this year, there's so many other areas of the market doing well. It feels like there's more attention elsewhere. Yeah,
absolutely. Aside from energy, of course, it does feel like, though, and concentration in the AI stack, whether you're talking about energy, you're talking about photonics, you're talking about chips, you're talking about, you know, data center buildouts, generators through CAT. There's just so much to the AI stack, and they're all really running. I mean, some of them take their turns, different groups here and there. But yeah, to build on your point, it definitely feels like Mag 7 not centric anymore. Or as centric as it was. Let's talk a little bit about this Amazon deal, because it's quite interesting. So they're nearing a deal to acquire GlobalStar. The GlobalStar is valued at $9.37 billion. It's big in the pre-market here. There's no official confirmation yet from either GlobalStar or Amazon. The deal would strengthen, though, Amazon's much coveted Project Kuiper, as well as their Amazon LEO satellite ambitions. The goal here is to build a space-based Wi-Fi network with over 3,000 satellites. Very similar, of course, to Starlink. Got another use of Starlink on my way back. I'm even more impressed this time around, Brendo. It's just fantastic. It makes flying an entirely different experience. You got to fly in an airplane with Starlink. Apple already has invested, though, $1.5 billion in the GlobalStar, $1.1 billion in funding for satellites, $400 million for a 20% stake in the satellite business. So Apple and kind of Amazon, if this deal goes through, going to be tying the knot here in somewhat.
It's amazing to me that these airlines, and I'll just say this as a blanket statement, have not seen that already and understood that they have to change. Because anything else at this point is barely usable.
You know, and it drops. Like, like when you're on Air Canada, fine. I was willing to just accept text messages, just to keep in communication with people. But once you see the other side, there's no going back.
Yeah.
There's no going back.
Stuck in a range, however, here, if you zoom out a little bit on Apple, going into earnings, guys, maybe this can finally be the catalyst.
Yeah, I'd like to hope so. It's a little bit disappointing for Apple, and it doesn't make the list today for some of that reason. Just a quick note on GSAT. It is now. There is now a definitive agreement, and it is for 90 in cash or 0.321 shares of Amazon or Amazon stock. I have not seen a reliable closing date except for sometime in 2027. And remember when I was mentioning this is not something that's, because there's a cash component and there's no particular close at this point, and it's Amazon, it could take a while to close, regulatory hurdles. That's why it's trading so far down from that $90, as you guys can see there. There's a lot to look at in tech, right? I think you have to pick and choose. One of these days, Intel's not going to go up. Hopefully it's not today. It's got 5 days in a row. Breakout at the open, breakout at the open. Now, all these breakouts aren't like clean breaks. It'll dip and rip there, breakout there, dip and rip there, eventually breaking the pre-market high, breakout there. So it's like oscillating between just straight up breaking the highs or looking like a little bit weak and going, or looking trend down, dip into some support levels and go. This feels more like the dip into some support levels before it has a chance to go. And there was a pivot spot at about 64.5. That's where I'm looking first on Intel. And then the other place in tech is, well, if we're being real about Bitcoin, a few things have happened, right? Like we've actually managed to hold on to the trend on IBIT and are now testing these highs. 75 is legitimate is a legitimate level for resistance, but I think up here it's got tons of breakout potential. And when you look at this on like a daily chart, right? So like normal like tradition, there's your trend break of the 50 period. You're now gapping higher. So because we're right at the cusp of that 75K, I think like a dip into prior high, as long as that can hold, it looks pretty good. But that 75,000 is here, and it's right now. So lots to watch in tech. I mean, I like, we were talking about Tesla, but like Intel and IBIT will be for me. And again, Apple, disappointment. So I'm staying away from Apple today. It's almost exactly flat. It hasn't really done much of anything. I like the stock, like the company. It's just today, Apple, kind of meh.
I have here all about tech today, man. IBIT 4150s. I'm already bidding there, so we'll see if that comes in. I don't think it will, but we'll wait to see if it does. Tesla 354. That's probably going to change to 356, but I'm bidding 354 right now. I don't want to necessarily sit there and catch these falling knives. Amazon 239 long. We'll see if we can grab some shares there. And then NVIDIA 189 long. So these are all longs. We talked about it being very much a risk on day for me over here. So we'll just continue to watch out. Here's Amazon pushing back. We said that, you know, at 925, here come the imbalances. So there's NVIDIA. So NVIDIA with a sell. Okay. All right, that's interesting. So maybe we do get that 189 after all. We can, again, we don't necessarily want to sit there and just wait around for all of these trades. We want to make sure that they work out for us. There's NVIDIA with a sell, 189. That could come in. And other than that, though, BMNR, you know, we talked about IBIT, and there's IBIT with a sell as well. So these sells aren't going to be affected that much into the stock, because these are based on whatever the crypto's doing, right? And so obviously when you're looking there, it's not like Bitcoin sees IBIT as a sell on here and then fades off. But if it does give us an opportunity to pick something up cheap, we should do that. BMNR up 8% yesterday, up 5 again today. It looks like the bid is on right now for crypto names. We had Michael Noss on yesterday talking a little bit about those random coins as well, starting to go. SoFi with a bid there as well, 191,000 shares, and you can see SoFi catching up 3% there. Other than that, man, Oracle, just this story continues, up another 7% there for ORCL. And I was looking at this too. We'll talk about this as the show goes on. We're almost back. We're almost back. We're almost flat right now. I'm only down 0.84 now on the stock tracker. Shout out to Obi, Adara, Randy, and Sharif and I, man. Sharif, we're battling. We're almost back to Greensville. Sharif got 0.12. So maybe after today, we'll both see if we can get there back to green on that little fun exercise that we had earlier. Thanks to MRVL for me. There goes Oracle right there, up to the upside as well. Just another bid coming in, more shares hitting right now Oracle, as it's now up 7.5%. Just ticked another 1%. We were just at 7. Now you're at 8. There goes the market to the downside. There goes Oracle, straight fire in the booth. Upside. What's going on back at the desk with Lucid and Uber?
Yeah, more news Uber way for Lucid, or more details, I guess, of the Uber news for Lucid. That said, I mean, we've given most of this back already this morning. Ripped up more than $1 here on this. We're more than halfway back.
It was like the Christmas tree retracement. I was looking at when I was doing the note, it was already pulling back. But this is a good headline nonetheless, guys. So Lucid expanding their partnership with Uber, who's agreed to purchase at least 35,000 vehicles from Lucid, specifically designed for that future robotaxi deployment. It positions Lucid, of course, among the names now being discussed that can actually throw their hat into the robotaxi ring. Uber's commitment, or they're committing, I should say, another $200 million, bringing their total stake to about 500. And then there's Ayer Third Investments. They're adding another $550 million, strengthening Lucid's balance sheet. Of course, this is a very critical phase for Lucid, where they're looking to expand production with newer and more popular models. We'll have to see how they do there. There's also a leadership change we have to announce here, Brendo. They named, Lucid that is, Silvio Napoli. Not the team in Italy, but the person, Silvio Napoli, new CEO. He replaces Mark Winteroff, who's going to transition back to the CEO. He was an interim CEO. This Napoli guy, he comes from a company called Schindler Group. Operational execution is what he's known to be good at. So
we were talking about earlier the simple fact that EVs as a market has not only changed from going back to COVID, as you were saying, or coming out of COVID, but I think it's still ongoing to a point where I was actually at a red light, I think it was 2 days ago, and the advanced went green for the people on the other side to start turning.
Sure.
And the car turned, and there was a Lucid. And it's still the only, I don't know about you, but it's still the only EV when I see one, it triggers me. And it's like, oh, there's a Lucid.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, everything else is just, you know, blends into the
I
background.
gotta agree
But
with
it's
that.
still the only one that I say, oh, there's a Lucid.
Have you seen the Gravity on the road yet?
No, not yet.
I think it's a bus. I still haven't seen it on the road, but I saw it at the mall. Huge, huge. And that's probably even more of a attention grabber.
Yeah. We'll see if we can hold here, guys, for Lucid today.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen one in forever.
It's like a black swan.
It was a couple of years ago. I know I saw one a couple of years ago, but I haven't seen since. I still can't believe they were at one point in the NASDAQ 100. That's ridiculous to me. But I like Uber. I don't like Lucid. We'll leave it at that as we get the opening bell on a Tuesday. And let's ring it right now. Oh, well, I don't like Lucid the stock, and I like Uber the stock. That just broke the highs, and Lucid reverse split and is Lucid, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, no, Lucid's a disaster. You know, that stock speaks for itself. Whether or not it turns around from here, I think might be something. Wow, it looks like we missed that Tesla just by a little bit. I mean, we were at 350, 425. It got to 355 on a flush there for Tesla. Damn it, we missed that one. Obviously, NVIDIA does not flush. I can see what that's doing. That's just a rip city right now to the north side. So
That's
everything
insane.
starting to go. Probably Amazon as well. AMZN would be Amazon, right? I think that's right. Yeah, so again, everything ripping. So we said it was going to be risk on. Now we got to slow down and wait to see where this market goes. The market's not even going that much. Just a lot of these stocks have started to get going from their lows. So there goes Amazon. Probably MRVL, 136. Okay, so that hits 138. And change right there. So that looks like that's going to be a good fill up there as well. We'll see if MRVL can get going. NVIDIA breaking 193. Everything is going right now. IBIT may be the only one that's trying to hold lows. But IBIT pulled back. Uber also pulled back just a little bit there. And then a quick look on JP Morgan. All right, so that does come back into 309. So yeah, now Tesla, wow. So stupid. We missed it by 75 cents, but at the end of the day, it's going by itself. There goes Tesla, 360 and change. 358, look, wow. 358 might be the bid there on Tesla. Everything really started.
Everything is gone.
Yeah, everything gone right now.
I'm canceling. I'm canceling my Tesla bid. I think I missed by 40 cents or something like that. Something silly. Oh, we didn't talk. Whoops. We didn't talk about Palantir this morning. Remember, the president likes Palantir. I don't know if you heard that last week, but that also breaking out. What am I going to tell you? Like, this is breaking out, that's breaking out, left, right, center, everything looking pretty bullish. Silver, we're looking for a dip buy in silver. That's at VWAP. It's not really falling. It's not closing any gaps, but at least maybe it has a chance to bounce off of some prior lows. Like, that could give you a little bit of something. USO's not moving up, so you're not really getting a chance to fade over there, unfortunately, and we already talked about Palantir. AMD's headed the other direction. It failed the 250 break. So this looks distinctly different. Intel's also dropping, but it's not really catching any kind of a bid. That's right into support. It's falling like a rock. There's something different going on with Intel right now. So this is a stay away until I sort of figure out what is even happening here. Like, Tesla will look good, but AMD and Intel both giving up. Oh, and remember, there was Broadcom that was headed to the downside early. Yeah, well, Broadcom Christmas tree recovery, it's now green on Broadcom. Like, this was the weakest chip name 20 minutes ago. Bye-bye.
So yesterday, of course, Netflix can't do this when we have it, but Netflix was still the #1 stock yesterday and was proud to have that on board. But look at this move today. We had this exact same sort of feels yesterday for Netflix, and then today it goes just really popping up $1 straight, up 1%, sorry, and $1, just straight fire right there for Netflix, man. 103 and change. Yesterday we were lucky enough to get a dip buy. This today, nothing happening there on NFLX except for straight action northbound there. We can see if SNDK took out 1,000. It did not. No. Okay, so it got to 975 there. Now it's dripping back in, down 3%, 925. These
know what else is?
These names are going to fall. Yeah.
There's some things that are falling that are high flyers, because G Vernova rejected 1,000 again too. Pretty much exactly. That's actually heading back into the downside. So you're having a lot of what I'm looking at is strong, but like, there's a couple of things under the hood here. AMD, we mentioned Intel, SanDisk, you mentioned GE Vernova, not looking incredibly strong just yet. I haven't heard news on that, but
Oracle
it's not that
gave
much.
some of it back too.
Oracle?
Yeah,
Oracle
not
giving,
a ton, but they can't do 170 yet again.
Well, there you go. So we're running into at least some resistance. Maybe not for Tesla. If the dip into the prior high is gone, again, those orders are now canceled. We'll look to see if it can hold some higher lows here. Maybe the VWAP trade is going to be in play. Just looking over at IBIT right now. I think there's no need to cancel that little dip buy. No need to have it out there. There's no point sitting like 80 pennies lower from here. If it goes down 2%, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I want to see if we can hold some pre-market lows because you have a topping tail candle, at least for now, forming on IBIT, which would indicate that it could come into a little bit of a pullback. If that happens, look to try to catch a base in this bad boy. Apparently SMR is even flying. And no need to spam the chat. We do see some of the names that people are throwing out there. Circle should be strong if Bitcoin's strong. 5% again for Circle. Like some of these beaten up stocks are really, they're just absolutely flying around here. But no, IBIT and Silver what I'm looking at right now because they're the ones that are the least far away from what we're looking at for entries at least.
Yeah, I mean, I just put a bid. I have a couple bids on IBIT, but I'm not going to get the low one. So I'm going to switch it up 42.25 so we can get this back, like we said, into VWAP. I'm going to see if we can get a bid there for IBIT. Probably not, but if that happens, that happens. It looks like we're getting in a little bit of a move down now back for Tesla, although the market is giving no moves back. Tesla does make that move right back in. My signal is going real slow here today, but okay, yeah, nice, yeah, wow, a good break there on Tesla as we get lower, right into day's low again, into the 200 period moving average there for Tesla. Okay, breaking lower right now is going Tesla, 357 and change, potential area. I'm a little nervous because the market, like, why is the market ripping here, but Tesla keeps on ticking lower right now into 157. I'm going to leave Tesla alone just for a second and maybe have a look back as we got into 361 and now pulled back. Same thing sort of happening right now with NVDA. So these are two longs that we looked at and that I really liked long. I'd written down NVIDIA lower than this, 189, but looks like 190 would be a pretty good take here for NVIDIA if we can come into maybe 190 is too low, but maybe 191 there. Something to look at for NVIDIA. I think we could try a 191 or so take here for NVDA. But hey, it's only 9:36, and it's like the markets are definitely giving some back. That's $1.50 right there in 5 minutes for NVIDIA. And it looks like we did make the mistake.
AMD is screaming downside right now.
Okay, yeah.
Screaming.
So made the mistake not buying some Tesla there, but
yeah,
okay, maybe AMD then.
Well, but it looks like a.
I mean, is there news on any of these names? I mean, I don't know why some of these tech names are.
This is the issue. Like, you can sit there and look bullish, but that's a fail break at 250. Like, I'd almost want to be looking for some kind of a fade when I see a pattern like that. But look, you're seeing USO go down, so it's all systems go. Man, IBIT's not dipping. This is ridiculous. It's only going higher here. Might have to step that one up. SLV as well. Like, I'm looking at some of these other names going down, but the dip buys in a couple of names that haven't really gone yet. They're just not matriculating in. Adara, was there anything on AMD?
No, nothing on AMD, nothing on GEV either. So some of these names that are pushing lower, there's no news on them. They're just, I guess, moving not with the market.
Yeah, maybe some profit takers, aggressive profit taking, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to buy.
It doesn't have to be news. It can be It doesn't have to be news why something's going down, right? Like, these stocks are volatile.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it's probably. I think he's profit taking. I think he's probably right. I mean, the Nasdaq is absolutely on fire right now. I mean, up 0.79. This is why we do say that sometimes it is worth, just investing sometimes in the index whenever you're uncertain, because definitely a get up there. I'm going to try AMD against that bottom 250, 246.50. So I'm bidding right now. I missed bottom, who knows where the bottom is, but missed the low take there on AMD around 246.80s or so. Let's see if we can get something in around 246.60. I'm waiting at 247.0s, see if we get a bid right now just to start our bidding on AMD. But yeah, downside right now. Maybe something's broken, but we're going to wait to see if we get some support down here near 246 and just give it around near that bottom. Tesla's I don't really know what to think about it. We saw yesterday that we were waiting for it to base. So right now it's kind of doing that, but I don't know, man. Like, just where this market is, I did not think we would be all the way down here for TSLA. So this could be the shot right now to take Tesla. I'm not prepared to do it yet.
Well, the level I like.
No. And NVIDIA's
coming in. It was 54.5, and we're sitting here. The market's at the highs. Tesla's near the low, but not at that prior highs. What's with the scaling? Oh, there we go. That's much better.
Okay, we're into AMD.
Yeah, so look, it would need to get a little bit lower or reclaim the volume weighted average price to show a little bit more strength. IBIT and I'm still just looking at IBIT and silver. Apparently, Amazon is looking a little bit spicy. Remember Amazon buying GlobalStar, and they don't care. They don't care that there's a stock portion. Amazon's showing you a lot of the strength there. So, yeah, we see Tesla going down. Intel continues to fall. It's interesting that the market's holding on to so much strength. But, like, IBIT, it's so, like, I'm seeing so many pullbacks, and Bitcoin is at 75,000, and it's not really dipping. But I'm not punching the highs. We're at 74.9 on IBIT. Like, there's no.
Okay, we are really.
Yeah, it's not punching the high here when we're at 75. I'm expecting at least some resistance at that level. It just hasn't happened yet for Bitcoin.
All right, so AMD lost it, man. It's gone. So there goes AMD. I mean, now I guess we just got to look at, okay, here. So we did try AMD. We got out at 25 break. So that, I mean, we got out at 25 on that low break of 40s. So we took some there at 80. We averaged it into 60s there. Not a big hit, which is pretty good, actually. Pretty happy that we didn't get hit that much on that. But there he goes, 245. It might have, I don't think we're through yet. Just there's that bounce off of 245 and change. NVIDIA was the one that sort of got low there. This is what we were looking to buy NVIDIA, and instead we went over to AMD. That might have been a mistake, but AMD could still rally. It's right back to the spot we punched out at. But yeah, NVIDIA, not quite. I would still look at 190 there for NVDA. Tesla, Amazon was a story today. So yeah, that's up to 240. Wow, really like Amazon. Amazon's a pretty big holding as well. But Amazon, yeah, upside, just looking at the chart here. Wow, 246. I mean, if you're looking at the daily chart, it's right here, right now. So you made a huge move on Amazon. Nice trade there for anybody that took that off the open. You got a nice little dip buy early on some sort of imbalances and then ripped straight through. We had 239 written down, gets as low as 241. Yeah, okay, so AMD's still going lower.
Position board, was it working?
I was in and out. I didn't notice.
Dude, okay, Andre, maybe just restart it. I didn't realize, because I didn't take anything until now, so I didn't even realize, and I didn't peek over. But I'm into SLV finally. Like, this is just basically the open, and then the prior low looks like it's trying to hold these prior highs. So if it holds on to this trend, which is also VWAP in here, we'll go for this one. Like, everything else just kind of extended away from levels, and there was really no reason to get in. Like IBIT, like I said, IBIT hasn't really dipped. Tesla might be really trying to go without here. Like, it hasn't refilled in that gap, and now you're starting to see VWAP get retested. I'll let this one settle down a bit. If it can hold over VWAP, I think there should be plenty of opportunity to get in. And then Intel just hasn't really flashed. Now, okay, well, maybe it is now. I was about to say Intel hasn't flashed any kind of buy signals. That's starting to look a little bit more like a wipeout bottom on Intel. Yikes, I might have already missed this one. So we'll wipeout bottom through that 63 level. Prior bar is pretty much exactly 63 even. Here at Intel, so I'm going to try and get into this long. So if you can get to VWAP, whoops. Oh, I know what happened. I must have put the stop instead of at 63.
Yeah, it's correct now, yeah.
64. That is absolutely correct.
Only because I have one position. We did retake it there. I don't know if, again, like we take some out at to the high side there of AMD on a break of 247. I was just like, you know what? Maybe, as we just mentioned, there's some of these dips have happened, and we can try to absorb it. I'm only going to give it set to 25 cents. That's the most we got. So if this one's to fade back through 247, then we're going to stop out properly down there at 246.75 or so. I'm waiting for a little bit more of a fill there at 30s. If it wants to go, doesn't look like it wants to. Here it goes. Almost breaking down right now is AMD. So we're going to try to give this a shot. But for right now, I don't know. I like it. It's only zeros right now on AMD. I think there's a lot of room to go back there. Give me never gets, I guess. Right back there to the upside. Maybe we should have waited. Well, let's put a 20. Okay, there it is. We'll cancel our 30s. We get a 25 there on AMD. We're only trying to risk 25 cents. So if we get an upside play, that would be well worth it here for advanced micro devices. So yeah, just kind of hanging out right now. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys do hit the like and the subscribe. I want to be stopped out of this one at 246.75 right there. It took 3 units on it. Hey man, if it breaks lower, it breaks lower. All good. We're kind of flat on the stock now. Just waiting to see if this wants to get a little higher right now. There goes AMD here. We're waiting at 50s. Maybe we get that. Just need a little bit more of a push up as we get ready for this market to do something, hopefully. There it is. Yes, sir. We are now Greensville on the day. It only takes one. Good thing we were able to get back into it. But let's see what winds up happening with AMD. Goolsby right now speaking as well. So, yeah, here goes AMD. We're waiting at 57s if we can get it. But so far, so good there. 30 cents in the money on this one. But I heard a call for a dare. Just let me know, Andre, when you're ready.
Yep, I think so.
All right, then let's go.
Not much to say about Goolsby. He's generally been cautious. He's continuing to be cautious. I wanted to talk here about NNE, Nano Nuclear. This name is pushing higher here. White House announcing a space nuclear initiative. So nice look here for NNE. Other nuclear plays include SMR, if I could spell the ticker. SMR actually doing quite well here. OKLO would be another play to potentially watch. Not doing as well as SMR and NNE, but either way, nuclear plays on watch. White House initiative. If you do want to hear some of the comments from Fed's Goolsby, and again, he's generally does tend to lean a bit on the hawkish side. He said that there are circumstances where rates can go up, circumstances for a hold, or circumstances for rate cuts, which is quite literally, I think, the entire motto of how to approach the Fed. He also said before the war, he was optimistic about the possibility of rate cuts. Now he said it's really unclear how long this conflict will last, in his opinion anyway. Back to you.
Well, now the market's starting to really scream. The NASDAQ's broken through the high following the ES. By the way, the ES was stronger than the NASDAQ all morning long, worth mentioning. Intel, there was that ridiculous bottoming tail candle. Now it's trending back in toward VWAP. So I'm going to respect VWAP. You also had some resistance at 64 even. So taking a bulk out here. I am also still in silver. Yeah, position board's working, just double checking. That's holding on to trend. Hasn't re-broken the high. But so far, so good on the dip buys, except for IBIT. And the reason for that is, well, we don't have it. Bitcoin is now through 75,000 during all of that, and it seems like it's gone without us. But that's all right. So far, so good. You're not going to be able to catch all of them. This one just never dipped. There was plenty that was dipping. It just was never at any point Bitcoin. We'll have to try to be patient with this and see if we haven't missed the train. But I want this VWAP to fill on 64. And once we go through there, I'm looking for 64.4. Intel is a little bit uniquely weak, and I won't let this one get out of the money. So the stop's now to break even from that prior bar low.
All right, we took some out there on AMD to the upside there. We only have a third left. It just ripped up right into VWAP, right into the 200 period moving average. I mean, we got to empty the clip out when it gets there. So we make our daily goal there after going 0 for 1 to start, right? A quick hit. And then right back in. So we had 1.5 units on this one. We had 3 on this. So let's see if it still wants to work out. I mean, we were just at 248. We'll see if we can get back up there. We actually have a fill at, I mean, this is the big fill for me. I'm just waiting, right? There's our 25 period. There's VWAP. And yeah, it's AMD, and it was a good little bounce back. Now, will we wind up holding that level? Now, I do not know. But I'm still going to be stopped. I mean, look, we could still, this stock could turn out to be a losing trade there. I'm waiting for 246.50s or so to come through there. And if we do drop out through that trade, I mean, I told you this was a 20. I mean, this is the thing. Even when I took this trade, it was 25 cents worth of risk, right? I mean, that's what I'm going to try to keep being vocal about, sort of, you know, where I'm getting in, what the risk is like. So when this rips $1.50 and you have 25 cents as your stop, you know, you're then taking it 7 to 1, 8 to 1 on that, you know. So that's something that you got to empty out a little bit when you get there. Even if you think it's going to continue through, that's what you got to do, so that when it does pull back, you know, this market is very headline sensitive and very stock specific, obviously, as you can see. So, you know, you got to be careful with the winners, and here it comes right back in again. So, you know, what was $1.50 now zeros again. So, you know, this is why you got to be aggressive on your outs and your ins, but follow your rules. Like, here we go. We could get stopped out here for that down 25 cents, and if that happens, it happens, but that's why you take the outs when the outs are there. And we did that there for AMD. Now, will it continue here? Is a completely different story. I was thinking about some NVIDIA strength, but for right now, it's AMD that's been really weak.
Some other chip, but SNDK is at the low of the day right now at about 905, almost $900. Like, there's a lot that's looking pretty weak. Micron's a little bit stronger. It's holding on to VWAP. As I was mentioning, Intel, which was a complete, just utter dumpster fire off the open, did a bottoming tail, and it's also rejecting VWAP. So there's a lot of relative weakness in places that are not Bitcoin, if we're being honest about it. And then you've got the mags, like Amazon's chilling. HOD, like there's no, oh, okay, well, Apple, I was gonna say Apple was chilling as well, but Apple's actually pulling back a little bit here. And then remember the software names that were looking so good. You've got Microsoft leading the way up at that top. Oracle, which yesterday was one of the biggest movers. It's still looking actually relatively strong, but I'm still only in the 2. SLV's holding on to the trend. I reloaded on the trend line, and it hasn't bounced back into the highs. But there's some really heavy downside, like SNDK stocks that are really holding this move from retaking some of these tops. Let's get that super chat from Dave up there if we can. I know we have a couple super chats we probably need to get to. Andre, I tried to tell y'all it is World Quantum Day. You didn't show it. Thank you, appreciate you. Bought the Beyond Meat, Berry, and Tropical Variety 12-pack from Beyond Test Kitchen that will send, you will send after, figure out the logistics and mail. You just let us know. Just let us know, we appreciate you. And IonQ, you want us to look at because it's World Quantum Day. Well, in quantum, shout out to Alphabet, the best quantum play out there. Alphabet's probably at the high, but IonQ up 10%, so congratulations there. And yeah, yay, World Quantum Day. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, every day seems to be a day of something these days. But yeah, shout out. Thanks for that. We'll be having fun with those drinks. That should be fun there for sure. Okay, man. Yeah, AMD right back up there. And guess what we did again? So there it goes, man. These are the trades. And this is, we were looking for the big one. We put on big share, for me, big shares anyways. And there goes AMD. So yeah, man, we'll just props it up and just continue to sit here and do our thing day after day after day. So yeah, man, love trading. Joe will be taking this desk for a week. I'm gonna be gone on Thursday. So you gotta make the money now is what my mentality is. No, just joking, it doesn't really matter. But 359, I just, leaving is always a sad thing, but 359, yeah, so remember we were down here with Tesla and we're like, you know what, this could be the big one. This could be the big trade today. I mean, it's gone $4 off of that, but I don't know, just something looks broken with it. I mean, something still looks broken with AMD too, so I don't really know why I'm in that one more than I like Tesla there, but that was a good look for Tesla down there. And next time maybe when I start talking like that, we'll put on, even if I put on a small amount, we could still be fine down there with Tesla. But look, man, I couldn't be any more happy than with this trade on AMD. I think this is exactly the kind of trader we're trying to be. Very, very risk sensitive and get stopped out for 30 or 40 cents, but still stay on the name and look for that next trade. And if it's there, and take it. And now run the top. And again, very, very proud to say that right there, that is your daily goal. There at 9:51. So it's been, for me, basically working 30 minutes a day has really paid off. Glad to be here all day with you, but this is the life of a trader, right? That's why you sign up to be one. So congratulations to those of you that were able to hit those real early, no matter what your goal is. And hopefully you have a higher one and you keep going all day. But you can just give it back. That's why I talk a little bit like that. Nothing else really for me. I mean, we looked at IBIT, 75.3. It was the number one idea. I think both of us liked it.
Gonzo, though.
Yeah, IBIT is absolutely gone now to the north side. It reminds me a little bit of AMD, which seems to be gone. We just got to break through this 249 right now and see what ends up happening here with AMD. Here it is, man, almost $2. We take something out at 249.
Yeah, everything is starting to really, really press here. USO just made a low of the day. Intel's almost closed in the gap that I'm looking for. Look, you get that kind of a bottoming tail. It's still a bearish looking overall chart. So I'm looking at that 64.4 if it holds over VWAP. But I'm not going to let this lose the volume weighted average price. SLV, which we're also in, that's trending back into the high of the day. This is actually higher lows going into the high. So like Bitcoin, at no point did this actually look any bad. Over there. So yeah, here comes Intel into the prior resistance spot or support to resistance at 64.4. And again, this is just the style that I like. It doesn't matter that it happens to be $1. It's at the resistance zone exactly when the market's at the high.
Huge, man.
There we go. When it happens, we'll take it out. And this is sort of the thing. Like Intel, I liked it for a dip buy, but it didn't show anything off support until down here. You get your bottoming tail candle. We enter in, never went against us, and we get it clean to the upside. Now I'd rather try to work on things that are actually holding upward trends. If this makes an upward trend, I can always try to get back in off VWAP, and I like that silver. So, so far so good. Everything holding fort pretty well, and maybe we can even get some Bitcoin on a dip. I'm starting to think maybe 75 for a support level. We're at 75.3, so that would be in here at 42.6. If this can hold a nice little bull flag, that can give a second trade. But yeah, for me, like they already got the Intel win, so we're looking for something else. SoFi apparently is at 18 bucks. I like the sound of that. I like the look of it even better. I'm just really hoping Robinhood is doing well because that's the one I bought instead. Robinhood up 8%.
Yeah, we like some Robinhood there.
Well, it was the SoFi money that I put into Robinhood, so.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Robinhood is like 2 days in a row green after a bunch of red, so you shouldn't be celebrating yet, I don't think.
Nope. I like Robinhood though. All right, so here we go. Yeah, just 250, 260 there, and it's still holding on. We only have about 15%. Right now, but just as it keeps extending out, we just get out of it. And I think we did pretty good, man. I mean, just looking at where the net is now, it was a good one. One trade today, one idea with two trades, but one idea there catching AMD. And boom goes the dynamite on that one. You guys follow at Trader TV, Sean, and you'll be able to get some of those plays. And today we're looking at Tesla, Amazon, NVIDIA, and IBIT. So unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I think it's great that we chose AMD. I couldn't be happier with that. With obviously that play as we're breaking up through 249. Again, we already have those prints, but look at NVIDIA too, right? This is the one that we were looking at right there at the 200 period. Problem is, it hits right in the pre-market as we had a little bit of a sell imbalance, but it was really this pulling back into the 50 that gave you that same $2 there on NVIDIA, so that's really starting to work out. Yesterday we saw a lot of strength, and we've seen a lot of strength in MRVL there, but it's pulling back a little bit today, so you got to watch out for MRVL possibly pulling back nicely there, so we'll have to watch to see if that one has some sort of an opportunity to get bid up at some point. Yesterday's big trade, Netflix, made a huge move to 104.50, 104.80 up there to the high side for Netflix. So that's up 1%. Man, we said that this was going to be a risk on day. I didn't realize exactly how much risk on it would be. IBIT, wow. I mean, there goes another 3%. We talked about this. We're almost $10,000 in the money now on our last buy on Bitcoin down there. We bought it through IBIT, so I don't even remember the price. I think 30, probably. Well, would have been here, 30, probably 37. I mean, 66 is pretty much, the low was 64 or something, so probably in here, 37 bucks. So nice move up there for IBIT anyways for now. We'll see if it continues to go. And you mentioned before, Oracle, that name really started to go early and pull back. So
well,
this would be the one that's
kind of losing the bid.
Yeah, so I wouldn't short this or anything, obviously, but it's not looking horrible for a short. I don't know about right into this level because you've already made the move down, but 166 to 167, I don't necessarily think I like that. I mean, they have those options on Bloom, which Bloom is now 208 and going higher and higher. Yeah, I'm going to take another opportunity here, get out a little bit more on AMD, just in case it is having a little bit of an issue here at 249. So we'll take another piece out there at 249 and try to get higher. So you want me to look at BA? Okay. I'm, again, long BA. I've been lucky enough to have that as well. That's up to 223 now, so good. And there it goes, top VoIP. That's what you are, top VoIP. Nice move there for Boeing. Yeah, look, I mean, everything right now is... Here we go. Boeing is going. Yeah, so everything's going in Boeing as it rhymes. But yeah, looks pretty good, man. What a good day to be risk on. That is for sure. But maybe you're starting to pull back just a bit. So, rearrange your orders and make sure you start to take a little bit of profit as the NASDAQ's trying to turn. So I'm doing exactly that. Take a little bit more out there at 80s on AMD. Yeah,
that's a good thing we got out there because Intel's already pulled back half of that move. So it was about $1, and it's just pulled back like 50, 60 pennies underneath VWAP. So I still think it looks relatively weak. Maybe we got a proxy for this crypto trade. If Bitcoin continues to go higher, I'm kind of shifting over to BMNR. Bitcoin just broke the highs. We're above 75. BMNR is still just barely above VWAP. So just going to look for this one to maybe give me the dip buy instead of BTC. Silver, or SLV, I should say, still doing the same, it's holding on to the trend line, but it did not break the high last time. So unfortunately, that's now put in a lower high. Don't like the lower high to add into the trend. I'll only buy back on the trend line if it makes a higher high. So I want higher lows and higher highs if I'm looking for that trend trade. So I think BM&R might be it'll just give me an opportunity to get into something crypto if I see some kind of a pullback come in. But as I say that, first thing it does is reverse and start heading higher. So much strength in this. There might be some other things to watch. Maybe that SoFi will give us a chance to trade something. No, that's through the high of the day. There's not much that's dipping back in above the volume weighted average price on trend. That's why I'm in SLV. Could look at some oil plays. We thought pop and fade. That's cleanly trending to the downside. Have to pay for some locates on some of those beaten up ones if we want another trade. But that's fine. Silver just took out the high of the day. We can hold on to that.
Yes. Okay, I was talking with Marisa over there. Okay, so I was looking at Apple. Apple, you talk about something dropping in and dipping through. Apple would be prime for that. Right there, 259.50, right? The 200 period moving average could be worth a look here, but I'm not convinced because the market's coming back in. We just saw, we told you we had 10% left of AMD and then we started cashing it out. So about 5% left as this is screaming right now back in. So, something about, is NVIDIA doing something right now? No, okay, so interesting right here. I'm gonna take an out here at 247 and change now to see what's going on because we do have AMD making a little bit of a move down. We just heard some news on NVIDIA releasing some sort of a new AI platform, NVIDIA, so we could see if, yeah, I mean, the whole market's coming in. The whole space is giving up just a little bit right now. So I'm going to take out one more piece here. Well, if we can, anyways, in the 60s for AMD. There it is. So we get a 68 fill. We'll see if we can get something a little higher. We got to go to Adara for happening sometime now.
How about right now, Sean? I'll start with the news here on NVIDIA. NVDA launching ISING, or ISING. That's apparently the world's first open AI models, so not OpenAI, but open AI, open source AI models, to accelerate the path to useful quantum computers. This is a quantum-related announcement. I'll pull up these quantum names. As someone mentioned in the chat, it is Quantum Day, QUBT, seeming to like this, QBTS, seeming to like this, IonQ, liking this, and RGTI also, you guessed it, liking this. So this seems like more of a quantum announcement than it is an NVDA announcement. Let's talk here about the market. Here's the S&P 500. Or that was the NASDAQ. Here's the SPY. Both of these pausing here at intraday highs. Now we know USO is also pulled back a little bit. We're continuing to see the market try to recover as we start to see maybe a decline in oil prices for a longer period of time as we continue to get the conflict in the Middle East assessed. Let's talk here about Bloom Energy, BE and ORCL making some big moves pre-market. Oracle, as we mentioned, giving back a decent amount of this move, but Bloom Energy still near intraday highs, announcing that they've expanded their partnership with Oracle. They also had a warrant deal with ORCL, so ORCL will benefit from these moves higher in BE, at least on paper for now. TSLA getting an upgrade from sell to neutral by UBS. UBS also upgrading Ford, another name in the automotive segment that got a positive analyst note today was GM, General Motors, getting an upgrade from Deutsche Bank. Last but not least, JPM, some of these banks on watch. JPM not doing too much intraday, pretty choppy, but we do have GS on earnings day too. JPM, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, all on earnings day one. In the private credit space, BlackRock also reporting earnings. In non-private credit, you had J&J with earnings. Tomorrow morning, you've got ASML, Morgan Stanley, Progressive Insurance, and BAC. So the earnings are continuing to heat up, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much. But hey, we got crazy active markets lately. And if you're a trader, this kind of environment creates opportunities, and big moves can mean that there's more setups and that there's more momentum. But if you want to take advantage of those conditions, you need a couple things. You need some discipline, but you also need some access to capital. And that's where Trade the Pool comes in. Instead of being limited by the size of your account, traders can access firm capital and focus on executing their strategy and managing their risk. No more fear of blowing up your personal account or moving your stop loss too early because you're worried about your savings, your personal savings. This is what is limited risk trading. So if you want to take advantage of the volatility in today's markets without risking your own capital, visit tradethepool.com. or scan the QR code you see in front of you right now and get 10% off. Shout out to Trade the Pool. Well, I'm now out of both things, so a couple of things to get to. We'll flash to try BM&R. It's not IBIT, but I wanted that holding consolidation, but it lost that consolidation support. So we'll jump out of that one. It's the only L so far today. Silver held the channel up. So there's the channel up. I'll save it next time if it continues to. So basically it's holding the higher lows, it's holding the higher highs. We dip back into the low and I'll like it. And one note, USO is actually making a heavy move down here into 125. So that whole correlation where the markets make a jaunt to the upside because we have a big spike didn't really happen. A big move down there in USO, and the NASDAQ, if anything, if it'll load up in a second, actually pulled back into the volume weighted average price. So we're going to look for hopefully some dip buys. I'm still preferring IBIT more than anything else, and I would like to think we can get some kind of a dip here, but that hasn't slowed down. We're at 75.4, kind of hoping that 75,000 level can turn into something for rebuy. But I think it was the right call to sort of trim. I mean, Intel, again, still failing underneath VWAP. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that the long worked on it, most times I'd be looking at that and thinking short, but because I'm bullish today, I'm just being patient with looking for any kind of a secondary long entry. There's a smell test that we're not passing right now with this USO drop. Like, USO just made another fresh low, and the stuff I'm looking at isn't looking very strong right now. So Intel's not passing that sniff test, despite the fact that it won for a long. It's not making a ton of sense here. IBIT is. Like, that's, this can dip by. That's a different story. Like, this is clearly trending the upside.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a little bit of a look here on the TQs. We have a new position here. It's going to be the futures. So, AMD came down and broke 247, so we got out of that one. Again, we didn't have very many shares left, so that was a good move there. But we're going to try this. Just bounced off VWAP, so I took it a little earlier there into this area. So far, so good, as it's trying to elevate again, but we'll wait to see here. Market pretty strong today, right? So pull back into the 50-period moving average right here. So something similar with the TQs is what I use to trade the futures. So we'll wait to see if that hits, and then there's the dip down, that's 65s. We'll see if we can get some fills there, and then maybe if we wind up sort of losing, I don't know, maybe even something here fit. We can use a 200 period. 200 period was 51.50, maybe as a dropout spot there for the TQs. So we'll see if we get something down in and around here. I'm bidding right now 66s. So if we do get a drop down, that'll be something to look for. Wow, there goes AMD back upside now. So we get stopped out there, back up through 247 and change. That's okay. That was our stop, was right into there. We could have given it a little bit more room, I guess, but either way, it ticks out right to our area, and I'm going to trade on support and resistance. It's worked for this long, so that time does not though. It still worked fine. I mean, that's what got us back into it. So still be a big stock, but we're now working on the TQs, so hopefully that'll continue its push higher, and we have it. So let's take advantage of it right now. I'll get something out. Hopefully there it is at 86s, and we'll just continue to run that higher right now as we're into another trade. We're going to go 2 for 2 here and see what we can do with, well, hopefully we go 2 for 2 as we start to get some out there. 88s, then we just offered 90s. We'll see if the market wants to tick higher through this, but so far so good. Looking for some dip buy opportunities. Yeah, MRVL broke lower. Oh, there it goes.
Dude,
yes.
SanDisk is getting smoked.
Yeah, SanDisk is getting smoked. Yeah, MRVL's coming back in again. There goes the market. So that was a nice little take there. Yeah, there's MRVL.
Up though.
It's still up. Yeah, but still was up to 138.
SanDisk is down 4%.
Yeah. SanDisk is down. Well, SanDisk is gonna. That's probably.
Different piece.
Yeah, that's gonna be different. They're pulling back off of 1,000 there.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, this is still near the bottom, man, Marvell. So I don't know. Damn it, too bad we got stopped. That's too bad because we could have had AMD and the futures. That's crazy. But there goes AMD right back up to the upside. So all right, fine. We're still in this TQs trade. Hopefully that'll make a little bit of money for us.
Yeah, well, if Bitcoin is absolutely gone, so I get a look for something else. It's like what's pulling back into VWAP, and the only thing on my board that is setting up is looking like SoFi here as it tries to bounce off the volume weighted average price. So sometimes you got to pivot. I just heard something about Amazon. but I didn't catch the story. So, look, remember Amazon's got the GlobalStar thing, but there was something else that just happened. And Amazon's been relatively strong as well. So I'm going to look at what is pulling back first. A little bit of a higher low there on SoFi. Okay, the second I look away from IBIT, it's actually starting to dip. So you can see these prior bar lows. Going to give that as the out on SoFi and pop on over to IBIT, which just did a topping tail candle. So topping tail candle here on IBIT, rejecting the high. I think this could be the dip, at least. So hopefully this can get into the volume weighted average price, or at least something close to it, so we can engage in that. Also have a bid on silver on trend, but that hasn't come in just yet.
All right, another position we've got in MRVL. So let's see what winds up happening with this one. You know, we were just looking at it, so I don't know if you got a hint there that we were potentially going to get in, but we'll see. Right now, we're just long here at 10s. Got some out now at 30. We just got it at 10% there. Oh, there it goes, right back in. So yeah, this is very, very violent name. We're going to break this. Break 70. We're out. Futures going up. MRVL not going up. So wow, I didn't realize the spread on this one actually. We probably should wait to take in a little bit more profit on that, but glad we got something out there at 30. But yeah, right now MRVL, kind of funny, man. I did not realize how this thing trades, so we should have watched out for the spread there on
USO crater. We should be flying.
Yeah, we are, man. That's I mean, we got this futures trade on right here, so that's going to be a good one. Yeah, I thought MRVL would be flying, but it's not. But here it goes right now, so we'll see if we can get some MRVL. Oh, there's some TQQ love, and MRVL will take some out as it gets back up to the upside now into teens. So yeah, man, so far so good. We've got two longs and they're both printing, but MRVL is I don't know. This one's a pretty wild one. We're going to stop out at this break 60s, guys, down to the downside.
It's starting to look almost like capitulation levels on USO. And by the way, USO is now at last week's, like it was Thursday's bottom at 123. I should throw a 15-minute chart. There you go. So there's support. If there is support, like in theory, this is kind of where it would be on USO. If there's any kind of a bounce, that could be a spot that you see the market try to reverse. Let me just cancel that silver dip buy. SLV's now broken the channel to the upside, so that's completely gone. And remember that dip buy in IBIT that we thought we'd be able to get into? Well, that didn't even do anything. It did a topping tail, failed a high of the day, and didn't even break lower. So still just incredible strength over there in IBIT. I'm really hoping, hope's the wrong word, really hoping that we get a complete breakdown underneath that USO bottom. Because if it bounces, I'm expecting you could see a bit of a loss of the bid. And because we're right at the volume weighted average price on SoFi, like it's holding for now. It just held again there on SoFi. But I want to see this retrace back into the high of the day. Just watch out. USO is on the only support level that it's reached at any point this morning. So this could be the moment.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do pretty good here, but I'm just watching. I'm actually starting to get out of MRVL. We took like about a unit and a half. It's not like it was a huge trade, but just the fact that how violently I saw that thing move. I only have half a unit now. I was getting out of that thing like crazy there. I just did not need that thing to drop down, and all of a sudden like our stop gets missed and see you later. So a little bit of education for myself there on MRVL. I just didn't see how violently this thing could possibly trade. So didn't want to lose what we had made right there on the NASDAQ. So we did wind up getting out. And I'm actually taking out more and more here now on the TQs as we get right back into day's high. So we made the mistake, was it a mistake? I don't know, of getting out a lot at VWAP there, and then when it busted through, fine. But see, like right now you're running into, this is AMD, we already got stopped out right there. AMD it's still a big stock, it's all good. It's still my number one P&L. But like the move, it's bouncing right now off of VWAP, and I'm just saying like some of these positions that we have on right now as well, like why is MRVL not going? Right now the market just hit highs, MRVL stayed low, so we don't need to worry about that. Let it work, if not we'll get stopped out. And the same thing with the market, right? That's why we do that. Like the market right there, up to highs again and stopped. So that's where you really got to try to clear it out. Clear something out there for 10 cents or whatever that was, and then out on the next little bump, and then here we go again. You know, make sure that you put that money in your pocket, because you saw on AMD how fast things can change. There it is. We take another 96, and we'll see if we can just continue the upside climb. And if not, we're already out. So I'm already out of 2/3 of all of these positions right now. So if it continues to go, I think we should just go hands off a little bit and see if we can mature up. We're still at our daily goal, so that's good, but looking for a lot more. Let's see if the TQs can get this going right now through the day's high. And then if that happens, hopefully MRVL gets to go as well. And yeah, Bitcoin, wow, 75.6 right now.
There's no stopping it at this
There really
point.
isn't.
So, I'm just hoping, hope's the wrong word, but we're just looking for there goes the position board again.
Yeah.
I'm only in SoFi off VWAP. That was the only thing we got back
I'll get
into.
the position.
But let's see if we can get back into it's like 1807 would be the HOD. You've got USO. It's still holding the bottom. That is a reverse. It's a bottoming tail candle, but still a potential that this could turn into a big reverse. But if we don't reverse and we lose 123 eventually, I don't see any way that this market is going to want to stop. So the longs are back on, and I think we're just continuing to head higher. Just watch out for this USO move. It does look like it's going to try to catch a bid. If it gets into VWAP, maybe that's the place to fade it, as there was never any chance to get 129s on USO, unfortunately. Not much you can do about that. Go IBIT, go Hood, go pretty much everything. Oh, got to acknowledge and shout out to everyone that's been mentioning some of the other names we haven't got to. Bloom Energy, which is on the watch list, everybody, now 20% higher on Bloom through 205. There's been tons of opportunity to trade in here, and you can find some gems on the watch list. Bloom, probably no better than Bloom Energy up that 20%. Go, go, go.
Joe, I love Joe over there. There it is, man. There's MRVL. It's $1. I don't know. Like sometimes we second guess ourselves, but we're here for a reason. There goes MRVL. I mean, straight up another $1 right there. So it's a good thing we still have. We told you we held the third, so at least that part is good. And there goes MRVL. So right through 133. I mean, let's see how high we can even get now. More and more outs, and we've got to take advantage of it when it does have that pop again right there. And so we'll take that out. 133.50, 134. I mean, these are the trades we've given so far today. Boom. You know, AMD, it's, the stop is what the stop is, but this is still, well, anyways, P&L-wise, almost all the same in all these names, actually. But there it is. That's too bad because this one should be a monster. But so there's the other trade that we gave. The TQs, the NASDAQ is at the day's high. As that keeps going, let's take another piece out at 12s if we can get that. And then we'll watch that go through. But yeah, it's MRVL now really starting to extend it. Now $1 and change breaking through 133. We'll just offer it out and hopefully get another fill up here somewhere. But yeah, there it goes. So just should have trusted ourselves a little bit more on that one. And you know, the stop on AMD is what the stop is on AMD. I can't change that. Sometimes you get stopped out. All right, JP Morgan, relatively flat day, which is nice to see. Right now for JP Morgan, I mean, we saw yesterday a pretty bad day for Goldman Sachs turned into a good day at the end of it all. Still wound up down about 1% or so, but JP Morgan holding the bid right now, so good to see there. The other one was Wells Fargo today and Citigroup. So let's have a quick look at these banks. Wells Fargo got hit right away immediately, tried to battle back, and now it looks like it wants to lose some of the bid here as well. And then Citigroup, we said this would be the one that we probably want to look long on. Does dip down there, I guess, on some sort of an imbalance, takes out some of the highs into the open, takes out the pre-market highs right off the open, and now is kind of drifting. I think this is a good name to look at right now around 127. That is Citigroup. I'm still upset about AMD, but hey, man, that's trading for you, and you're gonna get some out at ill-advised spots. Yeah, Citigroup, okay, not too bad. I was looking at this 127, so if we did come into there, I think that would be something to hang our hat on, 127 for Citigroup, if that does go through. And, you know, Oracle...
Well, JP Morgan's not tipping that.
No, well, we just looked at JP Morgan, yeah.
That one, there's no chance on JP Morgan, unfortunately. Sometimes it gives you... Look, sometimes the banks will do you a favor and give you a fantastic dip buy. That just doesn't look like it's happening. I do see people in the chat were yelling at me to look at SMCI. All right, so just double checking. This is setting up for a reversion, potential reversion trade. Anytime you have a big support level like this, it's 28.25. You got the 50 period moving average. It's still a couple of percentage points away, but that's a pretty big parabolic move. So it's a wait and see. You know how it goes. You don't want to get run over by a moving freight train, which right now SMCI is. So I'll wait for that to get a little bit higher, maybe set up some kind of a trend break for the next available trade. SoFi's pulling right back into VWAP. If it can show another bounce, like bounce there, enter there, if it can show me another bounce, then I'll add to it. But if it doesn't show any pep in its step at the volume weighted average price, I can just jump out of that one. Bitcoin still, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like Bitcoin is super strong today. We're looking at IBIT, obviously, that's just the ETF, but there hasn't been any distinct pullback. So I think waiting for this one to get back in, at the moment we probably could have had a shot. I think, I don't know, was I distracted by Intel? Sure, Intel was moving more in the moment, and that might have been the only opportunity to have gotten Bitcoin at a reasonable price. But Intel, it's still heading lower since the out. Too bullish today. Didn't pass a sniff test, but for some reason I just didn't want to go short on Intel. So I'll wait for SMCI to either show me a topping tail candle, show me a trend break, or at least get to that 28 level before we start looking at a reversal. Because realistically, this market seems to want to just gently climb higher. So if something's going extended, then it can be a decent reversion, but you got to be really particular about it. You don't want to sit in front of a moving freight train. It gets risk on right now, and I know SMCI is a weak-ish stock, but it's a relief rally that we're seeing right in front of us.
I mean, here's the board right now. Intel down 2.67%.
Yeah, it's
so
different, right?
yeah, that's a different one right now. XOM, we talked about some of the energy plays. Looking forward to those today. Downside, right? As we said, like, why was oil near the lows? And as you saw the market sort of get that risk-on thought, we knew that energy had to go the other way, right? And so that's a good little look there. We saw, where was J&J? Let's get some health tech. I know it's not health technology, but let's have a quick look here. Eli Lilly, there's J. Well, I guess it's classified under this category. There's J&J. I guess they have some tech. 0.78. So remember I said when they were down, I was like, well, J&J will be up today, so that should help the market. And there goes J&J rate up. So that was a good call, it looks like. UNH, also some of these health services, all up, right? That's a good one. Wells Fargo continues to make lows. I just heard in my ear as well. There's Wells Fargo down 6.5%. If you like the bank names, this may be worth picking up. I'm going to try to figure out what's wrong with Wells Fargo, okay? Because that seems like a pretty dramatic move considering Goldman, Morgan, Citi, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, all up right now. But Wells Fargo obviously not built the same, and that's getting crushed. Now WFC. So if you have that one as a short on your card, then you're probably doing half decent. Yeah, there's the NASDAQ right back up to its highs again. So I would be foolish not to take something out of this big one there. So good win there on the NASDAQ. We'll take another piece out there at 13 and throw it back over to Adara.
We're going to do small caps, but quick, a fun fact, hearing from FCC Chair Brendan Carr that SpaceX has made apparently requests for a space data center. So I guess that is confirmed that they've requested that. Unclear how that's going to go over, but fun fact about space data centers. Also, let's talk here about these small caps. PMNT, first one on watch, Perfect Moment. Interesting name here for the company. No news from today, 2 weeks ago. So on Monday, March 30th, they announced $12 million financing packaging, which includes $10 million credit facility and $2 million in equity to support their growth and liquidity. I think they have probably now, as of this rally, around $10 million market cap. So nothing massive, but nothing particularly small to note here either. I have to talk as well here about SNAL. This is Snail. They did have some news today. The only small cap on the small cap recap today with news from today. They announced, or sorry, I guess this is earlier as well, like last week, they announced they secured publishing rights from Radiation Blue for Dead Party, which is a co-op party action game. So again, fairly recent catalyst, $45 million market cap, 8 million share float. HUBC, no news today, and the smallest market cap by far here, $270,000 million market cap. I'm not seeing any share float or short float information here for HUBC. That's Hub Cybersecurity, but this is a penny stock right now trading around 12 cents. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. So look, small cappers giving you opportunities. Everything's giving you an opportunity here today. Well, I mean, there's some weak names out there, but don't get me wrong, there's plenty of strength to be around. How are we going to finish up the day, everybody? So I'm going to ask you quickly here. This is pretty simple. We're going to start the voting. All you got to do is type a number, 1, 2, 3, or 4. We get to 2%. I'm talking about the NASDAQ. I should say that. Do we get to 2%? Type 1. 1%? Type 2. flat, we end up at 0.3, or just red, type 4. So let us know what you think about today's market. Where are we going to finish? It's looking pretty bullish right now. I want to get a sense of what everyone's thinking. How is anybody? 17%. Who's voting red? You think we're going to get red from here? Okay. Well, there's a few. There's always somebody. So we got mostly going to be the 1% and the 2%, 75% early on. We'll leave this one up, see how everybody's thinking. Okay, now it's looking a little bit more bullish. That's what I'm expecting. That's what we're expecting, everybody. Nice bullish day overall in the market. SMCI still climbing, hasn't really reached that 28 level to look for it yet. SoFi still working its way back into the high of the day. It's got a nice bull flag, holding VWAP, so I think just rinse and repeat inside of the bull flag for me on that particular name. But the market looking good, despite the fact that USO did catch a bid after all. Yeah. So that's a reversal candle on USO. If that can get it back into VWAP here, I think that's a spot to look for some shorts. I'm kind of hoping Battle will be doing something stupid. Oh, it's down 9%. Sheesh, this stock is trash. If this does any kind of a pop on USO's bounce, then that can be a nice little fade. You saw what it did yesterday. Short the pops on this for sure. Maybe look at the 350 level. If USO continues its bid, I'm not even saying it will.
We definite missed opportunity here in Tesla. We sat here and was like, this could be the one, man. This was potential. I mean, you know, anything is coulda, woulda, shoulda, but that was a good move there on Tesla. So at least glad we were looking at it. We have to wind up flushing down. I mean, we'll be green on it, fine, but there goes MRVL. Unfortunately, does give it up. I mean, that's why we talked about it, man. When there's that dollar or levels that are hit, this is why we get out a lot at. Okay, well, I can explain it. This is why we get out at this 25 period moving average as much as we can, right? We talked about having a third left, and we got less than that. And then there's the punch out there on MRVL, right where we got in. So, you know, take advantage of it upside there. Don't take anything out less than where we got in. So MRVL, a good trade there. And then obviously, this reminds me of that. What's up to Adam DeLuce and everything yesterday. This looks like yesterday's trade for me on the NASDAQ, except for yesterday was NVIDIA. So here it is, man, pulls right back into VWAP, and boom, goes the dynamite right there. Now creating, this will be my number one P&L stock today, just with this move higher there. So yeah, so far so good. And yeah, really happy with the movement that some of the market's given us today, especially on the NASDAQ side of things. We were looking at NVIDIA. I mean, that Tesla trade is a monster. I'm glad if you guys have that. What a move that is. NVIDIA, same kind of way. Look at this, 50 period, 50 period, 50 period. Just a lot of love upside there. And then, wow, this is a disaster for me. Look, up on it. It'll be the second highest P&L name. But we got out of it because we got stopped out. Like when that ticks, and you got to get stopped out. So hopefully you guys are still around on some of these names, but that was a good one there on my good friend AMD. I mean, we're up on it, so we got to be happy with that as well. Just to check back, I mean, look at what crypto's doing. So, you know, Robinhood today, 78 and change, finally getting going there on Hood. So nice day, up 10%. And we said this was a name that's just going to follow crypto. So if you like that talk, then you're going to be liking this move there on Robinhood, because obviously IBIT and BTC nicely cooking right here as well. And there's the move on Hood. So yeah, good day there. SoFi doing fine, not 10%. SoFi is more of a bank and something that I think is a little bit of a better investment, but you're definitely going to get the goods there on momentum trading with SoFi, trading with Robinhood. So.
Oh, the thing I forgot to mention this about SoFi. It's now well above those levels from that Muddy Waters thing. Like it regained
16 inches.
Yeah, it was 16. The low was 16 and a half or 1630 or something like that. Anyways, it was mid 16s was the bottom support level when Muddy Waters dropped that short report. We blew that through yesterday. So it's probably something that we should have mentioned. It's important because that's a good sentiment level, but it's right at the 50 period on the daily when it gets to 1820. So this nice little bull flag, I think it might end up holding here. The good news here is the bull flag's where you want it. It's right above this rejection high at 17.8. So it's pulling back into a prior high. The structure looks pretty good to me. Someone in the chat's like, Neil, look at Nike. Is that a short? I mean, Nike's been a good short like almost every day since earnings. Probably one or two that it wasn't, but doesn't look like much of a short to me. It's We're trending up since yesterday, higher lows, just took out the high of the day. And maybe if it got to 44 or 44.20, like the market looks bullish, it's in an uptrend, it's got still a lot of gap to fill till it gets to any kind of resistance level. I don't see anything that looks fantastic for a short trade. Even SMCI is not really near that 28 level just yet. I certainly don't want to short like Bitcoin or something like that. I was kind of hoping USO would show some strength and get into VWAP, and then maybe that would be a short. But technically, like when you say short energy in this context, you're not really thinking, that's not really a short. It's still bullish when you're thinking short energy. So I'm not really changing the opinion here. I just wanted to try to press it a little bit further. It's at a big support level, USO. I think if you get into VWAP, I've already paid for the locates on Battle, just because that moves better in a percentage-wise. And it's not even bouncing. It's losing the bid as USO is bouncing, so even it doesn't want to go. So yeah, just SoFi for me. I know the quantum names have been, I guess, strong on Quantum Day. I mean, who knew? But I feel like this is just a risk on more than anything else. Rigetti strong, IonQ is strong. These are also phase one moves. I don't know which one I'd be interested in if it would still be QBTS. Like D-Wave is the one that, look, I own some D-Wave in the personal account, so we'll leave it at that. But all of these look like they're breaking out of some lows here and maybe worth of a little short-term jaunt. Rigetti's above the 50 period, so I don't want to just sort of think my own book is stronger. He's not. Rigetti's actually stronger than QBTS. But it's kind of put up or shut up time, I think, here for that USO. If it's not going to go any further, when we reject here, then I'm probably going to try and get into Battle. Almost now, but it's trying to go, so I'm trying to be patient about this. Never want to turn good into bad. Like an example of that would be Intel. If I try to buy Intel at VWAP, I'd be losing. That's come all the way back into the lows. This is not passing the smell test at all. You can't make 52-week highs every single day. Intel's kind of proving that. So healthy pullback going into earnings, which I believe are in like a week or two here for Intel. That's coming up. Might be next week. Intel. Yeah, it might be. I think it might be the 23rd.
Okay. Yeah. Right now we're just we're kind of just doing the same old stuff here. Look, I mean the market. Just go ahead.
Sorry, just April 23rd confirmed for Intel. I checked their official website. I just wanted to.
Okay, April 23rd. So there we go, man. I mean, the NASDAQ is just booming here to the upside. So we're just going to get another piece out here at 27. I want to give a shout out to all my VWAP traders out there. We should have Brian on this afternoon, and I just tagged him as well as we talked about hitting this trade off of VWAP. And this is a trader's trade, man. I mean, this is what, when it lines it up, you have to take it. I might get back into MRVL here, but this is what I just did right there. Thanks for the help with the VWAP talk, Brian. It came right there, right into it. We got support from the 50-period moving average. We knew we wanted the NASDAQ long, so we took it there. And I hope some of you guys might have as well. Trump is right now on Truth Social, so talking about energy and everything, so no surprises there. Yeah, MRVL, we got stopped out. It's trying to take that out right now at 132. So yeah, I could see this one being potentially a bid through that. I wonder if it's almost a better bid through 133. Like, let's break the level that we couldn't break before there on MRVL before we get super excited about the long. We've already got the futures, so that's good, and we're already upset about AMD, which is kind of barcoding, and maybe right here, this could be a short. I mean, if you're thinking about the market right now potentially turning around, and I think we had Scott on, and he was talking about have multiple playbooks in there. I started this game in 2002. So I've got 24 years. I'm going to message Scott and see what he's got. He said he was a 53-year-old individual. I'm not sure how many years he had. But there it is, 249 and change right there on advanced micro devices. Just bouncing off the 200-period moving average. So watch out. That's 249.20 right there as your high. So could take the short against that level. Not a horrible plan of an idea right there. I am going to take one more piece out as the market's falling just a little bit. So we'll take another piece out there on the futures and now just continue to hold this trade, which unfortunately is down to about 12.5% or so left. So yeah,
we got something on Brian from Leroy Chan.
There we go.
I'm a student under Brian. VWAP is the truth. VWAP is, I tend to agree. That's something that, maybe we'll even talk about that today. Because it's one of those, if you're going to have one indicator on your chart, or a lot of traders, volume is obviously an indicator too, but if you have to have two, I think volume and VWAP. Those are the only ones that I have on the majority of my charts that are intraday. On the higher time frames, sure, but SoFi is holding VWAP. It's a good indication that something is strong and trending for you if the buyers are supporting there. So I did get into battle, so I'm shorting USO. Well, I was shorting an energy name because USO caught a bid and it just wouldn't go any further. So there's your topping tail. It just kind of rejected on the next candle. So jumped into battle at, oddly enough, VWAP. I believe we're going to Adara at the desk.
We are, Neil, because Bessent is talking right now, and he's saying some interesting things. This is U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying that he's confident core inflation will keep decreasing. Okay, it makes sense here. He also said that there's going to be a 10% tariff under Section 122, and that President Trump has chosen not to raise it to 15% for now. Now we get a really odd comment here. He said that the Fed should be delaying any action until Warsh is appointed. So I'm guessing he's saying that until we get the appointment, the confirmation here by the Senate of new Fed chair nominee Kevin Warsh as the chair of the Fed, Bessent's, I think, implying here that they should not be doing any meetings or rate moves. So if I get more clarification on that comment, I'll let you know. But I also have to add here, which I think is interesting, that earlier today, Bessent was saying he doesn't even think the Fed should necessarily cut right now. He was saying that because of the concerns with oil, he thinks they should cut soon, but he can't really argue for a cut right this second. So that, I think, is pretty interesting. Regardless, he's saying wait for Warsh to make any further actions.
Yeah, I mean, the Fed can do what they want at the end of the day. But I do think there's still some concern in the labor market that they're going to have to factor in there. But the market's saying, who cares? At this particular moment, like, again, we're probably, what are we now, $7 away, $8 away, technically, from the SPY hitting those highs. So we're a stone's throw away from making those all-time highs there on the SPY. And reality is there doesn't seem like there's much in the way of stopping it. You can try to say, yeah, but the banks aren't up on there. But that's not because of the reports why the banks aren't blowing it out. Like JP Morgan's not down 0.7% because their numbers were bad. It's because they're doing that thing where they don't buy them up until after. So I like, with the exception of Wells Fargo, I like everything we've seen so far in the bank earnings. It's just the start. Obviously, we'll get some more tech a little bit later on. All right, so I did say SoFi was heading into a resistance. It is a resistance zone on the daily chart. So if it fails the high and trend breakdown, we'll get out and reload it at VWAP and to try to do the rinse and repeat trade. And then we're just in battle, which is an energy name, short at the volume weighted average price. So the market looking continuously strong. I really don't see any reason to get away from the trend. The trend is your friend to the end when it bends, some people say. And that's if it even bends today.
Yeah, we're we just got another high there in the market, so I don't know. I mean, we can quickly look at oil and just have a quick look-see on what exactly that is wanting to do right now here today. But yeah, so far so good for oil on the downside, right? Down another 6%. So hopefully getting some relief there at the pump and hopefully coming through soon. Down 6% now and going lower right now. Nice little turnaround off the 50-period moving average there is, of course, oil. And we can look at it with USO, but this is our light crude, so nice downside play there. We didn't look at, yesterday we had a good trade on silver, and today we didn't look at it. Yesterday was, I don't even remember which way we were yesterday on silver, but yeah, nice move higher there today. Look at this one. Also, just watching out for these markers here, these moving averages continue to climb higher and higher right there on SLV. So that's up another 4 and a bit percentage points here as that name looks like it's trying to get going. SLV, silver upside. Okay, so MRVL still not ready to go, in my opinion, yet either. It's the Tesla trade that was the missed one for me. Holding on to AMD would have been one thing, but there goes Tesla, maybe potentially turning around. Oh, that AMD, we said, okay, there it was. So I was gonna say we were gonna look at this level right there, 249, but instead, no, man, almost gets into that VWAP level again of 248, and then whoosh, right there back up to the upside. Again, yeah, man.
Nike.
Tesla and Nike. I don't know what Nike's doing.
Nike's trash.
There today. Thank you.
Oh, it's
so
actually
much.
probably up, but
Yeah, Nike. Okay, we'll have a look at Nike right now. I think all names probably, besides Nike, I guess, upside. There's Nike, 1.4% there, Randy. So not too bad there, 1.5% up. Nike trying to get better. There, we did hear Lululemon got in trouble yesterday for creating too many accidents on the street.
look at everything's up today.
There it goes right there. Lululemon down 2% right now. All right, Neil's talking about Rivian with Randy here, so why don't you guys go ahead with that one?
Well, Randy just said 2 more weeks with regards to Rivian, so he didn't have the mic with him, but I'll let you guys know. He's saying waiting 2 more weeks on Rivian. I'd say this is a disappointment today because if you're not going today, then that, again, like it's such a risk-on type of day. Rivian rejected the high and is pulling back, so unfortunately, like this isn't an everything rally, in my opinion. Like you still have some pockets of weakness going on. All right, so SoFi, hit enter a second time. There we go. So SoFi kind of rejected that high. We'll look for it to pull back and continue to hold VWAP. Like it's got a nice little like flag going on here. So some higher lows, holding the volume weighted average price, buy the dips, hold the trend, and see if that one continues. Battle is effectively like a USO or energy type of short. There as oil continues to fall. Whoops, I just typed in oil instead of USO. That's hilarious. Every now and then, the fingers just do what the brain is thinking. But yeah, holding on to some prior lows, that's why I like this battle short of VWAP. If that breaks, wait for the volume-weighted average price. It's already 1040. It's a good day for the market, would be crazier. And Taylor, just for the record, like the reason, like to me, battle is like, it's an energy name. So I'm thinking energy down to me means like risk on for the overall market. So I'm not really even changing theme just yet as we go back to the desk with Adara.
I just want to touch on it because Sean mentioned it there, the Lululemon story. I looked a bit more into it yesterday. So these PFAs, I guess, are these chemicals that apparently Lululemon has said they've stopped using, but I guess there are some concerns that if you wear these chemicals for a long time, it can be dangerous for health. I believe they call them forever chemicals. Also, with that reported lawsuit from Texas, which we're still seeing reports of, it's worth noting Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who is reportedly filing this suit, he's actually running for Senate. So if he wins, it'll be unclear what happens to that investigation from then on out. I just wanted to kind of address that. Let's talk here, though, about the sector board. Lots of strength here in tech. Oracle up 6%, and this is actually down significantly from its intraday high, still up 6%. Oracle with that Bloom Energy deal that benefits both companies. PLTR to the upside, Meta to the upside, Google, Microsoft to the upside. Same with Netflix. Retail trade a little bit weaker, but again, you see that tech strength continue. Amazon up nearly 3%. We know that they have confirmed the earlier reported acquisition of GSAT. So keep an eye on that one. I believe GlobalStar. Consumer durables to the upside. We've got upgrades for Tesla, GM, and Ford today. So great look there. Consumer services strong. Health tech mostly strong. Health services strong. Finance mostly a good look here, though. WFC, I'm seeing worst day in a year for this company so far in earnings. JPM also to the downside on earnings. Electronic tech is interesting. A lot of the names that gapped up that we thought would have stronger days pulling back pretty sharply here. SanDisk down 4%. You've got Intel down about 4%. Both these names actually trading higher as of this morning. And I have to mention Dell too. Dell's down about 3.5% yesterday. This company moved higher after we had rumors that NVIDIA was going to be acquiring some kind of big computing company. NVIDIA denied those rumors, so DELL could be pulling back in relation to that. In terms of weak sectors, industrial services to the downside, energy minerals sharply to the downside, oil down, market up, especially tech, long story short. Back to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Adara. That theme has held true, although for the first time we've got IBIT pulling back. So that's a bit of a trend break here on Bitcoin. We're still chilling at 75.4, 3 or 4-ish. So we didn't really pull into 75,000. I like VWAP, but I mean, the notion was to maybe turn 75,000 into a bit of a bid. So unless it completely confirms a trend break here at the volume weighted average price, I might wait for a little teensy bit lower. Still looking for the reload in SoFi as it tries to pull back into VWAP to continue that trend. You're pretty much gone on SLV. Like that's gonzo. It's now holding the top end of the channel. I'm leaving up the trend. Just if it wants to hold this trend line all day, I can try to maybe jump back in if it pulls back into said trend line. And what else we got going on? I was looking at some of the names that you guys have on the well, it's something we have on our visualizer. I shouldn't say you guys. What you've been putting into the visualizer. I see Amazon has been often talked about, despite not making. I'm surprised. I see it. I've seen a lot of Amazon, but it's like way down here in 12th place on the visualizer. You still got whatever high roller is. That was that prediction markets company, and Oracle, Tesla, SoFi, SNOL, SNDK, NVDA, all names that we've discussed. Bloom Energy we even discussed. But Amazon, I guess it doesn't get enough love, but I'm going to give it some love right now because it just broke the high of the day. A little surprising it's down in 12th place because it's first place in a lot of hearts and headed toward $250. Sometimes accumulation, who knew, means something. And when someone else is buying at 200, or when Intel was buying at 19, or when NVIDIA was being bought at 170, or 170 to 175, accumulation is trying to give you a little bit of a hint. And when they're doing it on a good company, sometimes you want to join. Wish I'd added, I bought Amazon like earlier in the year, but wish I had added there. You never get enough. Like I only bought SPY, Apple, a little NVIDIA. There was, of course, that Robinhood that was supposed to be the SoFi money. That probably would have been just as good in SoFi, to be honest with you, at this point. But distinction without a difference at this point. You never buy enough.
Yeah, we can go over to Adair. I just wanted to say that Amazon right here, just another, you guys are disciples of VWAP. I mean, right into there. Another perfect VWAP trade. More to come on that around your 2 p.m. hour. All right, let's go back over to, wow, it's already 10:44. Oh my God. Okay, getting late in the tooth here. You got Sharif and Joe coming up at 11 o'clock. But yeah, already 10:45 right now. I didn't have a sip of my coffee yet.
Mine tastes.
You have the milk in yours?
No, you know that soapy
good thing.
taste?
Okay, I'm going to pass on it.
Yeah.
I know. Sometimes if it just gets cleaned.
Yeah.
Not a good look on the coffee there. Thanks, Randy.
But sometimes it just happens.
Of course, nothing to do with him. If you get the coffee after it's been washed, potentially you need to wash the cycle again. Just getting out of all the positions, relatively light now. We said we would trade what's on the board today. We've done a pretty good job of looking all over the place, but let's go over to Adair and find out some more.
I might have a small cap for you guys here. DNA, Ginkgo, Bioworks, unsure of the volume on this one, but nice breakout. And it does concern a stock we've talked a lot about today. That's going to be Amazon. So AWS around 6 to 8 minutes ago here announcing they've launched Amazon BioDiscovery. This is an initiative whose goal is to accelerate AI-powered research, as they put it. It is worth noting Ginkgo Biosciences, or Ginkgo Bioworks, sorry, that DNA stock, they have been named as a partner. So again, DNA pushing higher here, named as a partner in this AWS AI health initiative.
Oh, that's pretty light volume on that.
Okay. I don't know. We love AWS, and I think that we talked about this a little bit. I actually put something out. I actually pinned it for a while, and about Amazon being down into these levels, and how I thought it was a misread off of their earnings report. So yeah, we were able to get some Amazon down here at $200 and in that area. I mean, I had it up on my Twitter for maybe a week or so, talking about how I thought Amazon was doing all the right stuff, and there it goes back up to the upside. I mean, look, you had, whatever, man, you had 2 months to buy it, so it's not like that was completely right. It actually started going down against myself. There we did like the 3-day rule, I think probably around here, 208, 210, something like that. Then it went all the way back down and did not buy any more down there. And then now the rocket ship that is Amazon continues to go higher. So that's just an absolutely beast of a name. As I'm sure a lot of you, like Neil said, a lot of people own this name in their account. So there it is. What's our Crouching Tiger, Hidden Rally? I love that name. You've got it in your account as your largest.
Rally's not hidden today.
Yeah, largest holding right there. So a big shout out to you, and a congratulations on Amazon. It's always nice when your largest holding is near all-time highs. And speak about that, MRVL, not the largest holding, but we did good yesterday. Got out right here at 133, so that's where it is today. We got our 20%. We're going to hold the rest for MRVL. Vacation money. So there it goes. Nice upside play there for MRVL. Okay, SMR was rallying around a little bit. Good day yesterday from SMR. Better day today, I guess. I didn't see what it was up yesterday, but this is 11% right now with a lot of love for SMR. Looking to get through $11 today. It does break through 11.20, but no more for that, and we'll have to wait. Okay, here comes right back up TQs. I'll take advantage. Let's say off. I offered 24s, missed it. Offered 23s, missed it. That's the problem. Sometimes not punching out. Could have definitely got a better price there. Just saw it break out a little bit more there. Last time we looked at this was in the teens. Gets back up into the 20s, offering 23 right now on the TQQs. 2 minutes away, we'll get to what's for lunch. Yeah, right now, maybe IBIT. IBIT on a little bit of a pullback because I see.
It's trying to hold VWAP right now.
Okay, it is trying to hold VWAP. So there you go, another VWAP looker here on IBIT. Is the market going to give up the ghost here, maybe? But IBIT, yeah, looking pretty good down here at that level. We like VWAP. It's not too late, man. VWAP can hold all day. It's an all-day thing. So, good possibility here for IBIT. Liking the way this one's looking out right now, 42.70. Maybe wait for that, but I think you could probably take it. Just the momentum. I'd like to see it hold VWAP one more time.
I want to give a shout out to some viewers on TikTok that are watching. Mamba Trey, thank you for the gift. And literally, the other one is from just a user without a name. So I would love to shout you out, but neither one posted a message. Well, shout out to Mamba. Appreciate you and appreciate all of the super chats that we get and all of the messages. I do believe we also got gifts from ICANN, Wolf of S&P 500, also sending some out there. And there were some super chats that we even missed. I just saw this. I was sort of scanning over. IBIT's trying. IBIT is trying, but it's not successfully holding VWAP right now. So I'll have to wait on that. But Sunny Sharma, apologies. We get busy. Sometimes we miss a couple of super chats. Thoughts on the Beyond short today?
Ooh, okay.
I didn't really, yesterday it had that long trend break in the afternoon. There was nothing standing out about this. It wasn't at a $1 level. It wasn't at a gigantic, resistance up here, a little bit higher. So yeah, it just didn't really press. If it had popped into 72, 73, I might have given it a look, but that was more of yesterday's story, I think, there. On Beyond Meat. And yes, and by the way, shout out and thank you to our good friend, David, who apparently is sending us Beyond Meat. I guess it's is there a name for the protein?
Beyond Protein? No,
I don't know what that thing's called, so.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it through.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know if it's not even shake.
There's IBIT, first of all, taking down this. We did not go long, right? We wanted to see that reaction there. It does bounce off VWAP, but yeah, getting the feels here that potentially a downside play for IBIT right now from 43.20s down to 42.70. Market's still holding out. We do get the bid that we were looking for over there. I saw someone we talked about yesterday, some Chinese names as well. Alibaba, wow, what a good move that's had over the last couple of days, basing out down there. We talked about a good company. Alibaba basing out a little bit down near that 120 level, and now getting going. Good day for Alibaba, breaking out now. There's your VWAP hold. There's the VWAP hold again twice, and then there's the bump higher. VWAP holds are just going to look great today because of how the market is reacting. So no matter where you're looking, if you were around VWAP and you're up, then it's gonna be a good hold. You can see right here for AMD. Didn't hold that. I can't believe that stop out right there. Literally the lows. That's going to happen to you, but. We didn't wind up going to that. I had to we couldn't get plans for my daughter, but thanks for asking there on Cardi B. 249.50 right there. Good little level there. It's Tame Impala you're going to? I did hear one of their songs. I like the first minute of it, Dracula. I have to turn it off after that because it just keeps on going, something like Spectacular Dracula or something like that. Just keeps on. It has a minute and a half of the same thing. But I saw it and I was like, this is a good song. And it showed up on the Apple, on the trade. No, just the words there on the radio. And I was because he told me Tame Impala and I never heard of them. And now I have. So shout out to that one. We're going to Post Malone and Jelly Roll. Lame Impala. Oh, okay. No, I call him Tame Impala.
Fabian strongly disagrees with that.
Fabian likes them.
Crypto Banks is a fan.
Good. Okay. All right. Let's go back over to Dara. Then we got What's for Lunch, and then we got the big show.
We had the US dollar, of course, trading within that pretty tight range over the last 4 sessions, decidedly breaking below that range as of the end of day yesterday and continuing to push lower today. We are at session lows here for the DXY, so this is very much a decisively red candle following. Again, this will be our fourth straight day now of selling. We have to talk about this PPI data that we had earlier today. So cooler than expected across the board. You actually PPI month over month, well cooler than the estimate of 1.1%, coming in at 0.5%, also cooler than the February print of 0.7%. Core PPI month over month also coming in cooler than both the estimate and the prior print. Now, with the core PPI year over year, this number also came in both cooler than the estimate and the prior. PPI year over year non-core for March, a little bit hotter than the prior print, but it was much cooler than the estimate of 4.6%. So coming right between that estimate and the prior print here for non-core PPI on a year over year basis. We have to talk about the Fed rate cuts tool here. So as of yesterday, we said earliest cut we're seeing in October of 27. Now earliest cut back to September of 2027. Like I've said to you guys, over the last couple of weeks, I have not seen any indication that we're going to get a cut before September of 2027. It's kind of oscillating between starting in September, October, or December of 27. So that hasn't necessarily changed. But again, the potential of this cut being bumped up by about a month here. Tons of Fed speech this afternoon. Over like a 45-minute period, you're to get no less than 6 Fed speakers, including one Fed member commenting twice. So at 12:15 p.m., you've got Fed's Goolsbee, 12:45 Barr. Barr comes again at 1 p.m. along with Barkin, Collins, and Paulson. I'll cover all of this for you guys. This infographic not yet out on TTV Research. It'll be released at 11:55 a.m., so about 20 minutes before Goolsbee speaks. Goolsbee did speak a little bit earlier today. Nothing massive coming through from there, but then you've got contradictory comments from Hassett and Bessent this morning. Hassett saying there's room for a cut. Bessent saying he understands why the Fed might want to wait. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adair. 5 minutes till we throw you guys back over. We got another super chat question in there for you, Sean, from Artemis 2. Love the name. Shout out to the Artemis 2 crew on their successful mission.
Okay, all the entries on the sticky note did well. Sometimes. Good one there. Okay. You are upset that that I didn't take. Okay, well, which ones didn't I take? I mean, right here. So, yeah, I mean, look, I can't, like I said, I can't hit them all. We're really happy with the performance today. Like, we've hit our goals. We've done everything we possibly can. And I just want to thank you guys for actually looking at the sticky note. And that's, a big favor to me. So, okay, we can go over this right here. So let's look. Shout out to my parents, by the way, are watching. Love you guys. Thank you for everything you've done for me. So 4150, obviously, on IBIT doesn't hit, right? That's not there. The Tesla 354 long doesn't hit. So, I'm only going over this because I know that these levels didn't come in exactly to those prices. I was bidding 354.25. That went to 354.99. So what I'm actually doing now with the sticky note is a little bit more of advanced, like Amazon, and then and NVIDIA could have been good. But it's more about, because I write these notes down, like 7:30 into 8 o'clock. We go live at 8 o'clock. So when I'm writing these things down, like, I like the longs, like all these stocks on here worked. I said, if you read the note actually on the sticky note here, we talk about how it is a risk on day, right? And that appetite, I said right here, I'm reading right now, risk appetite is returning. So, we write this stuff down and all you can really hopefully think about is the long. And so all I've had is longs today. MRVL was awesome. Too bad, again, it broke the level and we got stopped out. Look where that is right now. MRVL, AMD, again, P&L number 2. That was a good trade, although not on the board, but we waited for that to move down against what we were looking for. And then there's the move up on AMD. And then, come on, man, the number one name and the number one trade today, for me anyways, this TQQ, about as clean as it gets. So I do want to say thank you so much for watching out for the sticky note and trusting on it. It's been a staple of the show since day one. So thank you for all of that. I have a whole box here. Here.
Not who. First of all,
look at this.
Why no one cares about AMC?
We get a lot of super chats about AMC. Look at this. These are all the sticky notes I've collected. So probably going to do something artful with these. You can go all the way back. Here, let me just take a random one and see what price we have marked down here on this sticky note. So, okay, Apple. Here we go. Wow. All right, let's talk about this sticky note right now. They're not dated, but we can do a good job of trying to figure this out. Apple.
I'm gonna guess the prices here, just because
sure. It's just very random.
It could be literally anything, but I'm just gonna I thought maybe there was about 200 or so it's got to be in the last year. So let's call it $255.
All right, here's Apple, 144 long.
Oh, even way longer.
Right, 144 long. Here's Amazon, 95 short, 95. Intel, 27 long. Oh my God. Palantir, $8.40 long.
Well, that's way longer than.
Wow, that's a good thing. I mean, that's Amazon. Palantir has paid a lot of bills for my family, but $8.40. So that goes to show you how long we've been doing the sticky note. Here's another thing. This is probably the second longest segment potentially in the history of our show. I would say probably. For sure it is. We don't have any other segments really. Okay, here's one right now. What's for lunch? Today, Jamaican flag. You're Jamaican me hungry with jerk chicken today, right now. So that's a face slapper right there again.
It'll be mild.
Yeah.
It's tasty. It'll be tasty. It'll be
Vegetarian chickpea and tofu if you're veggie there today.
Who hit the fail?
Rice and peas. I don't know. Rice and peas, seasoned veggies, and the coleslaw. So
but as long as it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's worth it.
People have been complaining about the chicken being cooked, but I think it'll be fine.
And it says
it's a drumstick.
It says drumsticks.
The drumsticks are always cooked.
Yeah,
so
that's
the chicken thighs the other day were. I mean, some people's were not that bad, not that good.
Yeah.
But I'm already thinking it's going to be a good one. We've never really had bad jerk chicken. It's just not.
It's not super spicy.
It's not spicy. Like
it's tasty.
Like it's most people. If you're West Indian, you probably wouldn't even call it jerk chicken because there's so little seasoning in there. It's just tasty. We'll take it. We'll be happy with it. The market's going to end on the highs. No questions asked. We have only about like 10 seconds to go, but I'm going to end just to quickly show you because I'm going to end the voting on our little poll here. As obviously it's mostly bullish. Still, for some reason, there's 17% of the viewers thought we'd somehow close red today. And then 11% thought we'd be at flat. We're right now at 1%, 42% of you, and then there's 29% of bullish, thinking that we'll get into 2% range. That'd be fantastic. We're halfway there in the NASDAQ. I'm still only in that battle trade from VWAP because USO weak or energy weak, market strong. That theme has not changed yet. Oh, and before we throw to the midday, maybe Sharif will be on this one. Because Sidhu, you're going to Sidhu. Sid has hit 550. Sid has hit $5.50, so that one's still going.
Bye, Obi, unfortunately.
I know people in the chat were mentioning it was like, why aren't you guys talking about Sidhu? There was a lot of things running today. You're never going to be able to talk about and see every single move, but we'll throw you guys over to Joey Options and Sharif. We'll grab some jerk chicken and we'll see you at 2.